Hey everybody, what's going on? Welcome to Froggy Socks on that saves financial advice, entertainment purposes only. Getting ready to do a space call and stream so we can have Liz Clayman and Adam Aron's interview up on the sound. It won't play the picture, just so everybody is aware. But we will insanely rich past what he already is. Let me get the space call going. Pretty good day for everybody today, I hope. We made some really good calls. AMC's cracking. Ape should be performing better, but market makers are keeping it down. That's why I'm suggesting direct registration. I think it would help Ape immensely. Now we have the space call up. Let me make a few other adjustments here. I'll bring up the chart. What's up, Chris? What's up, David? How you guys doing, man? Let's see here. Tube. What up, everybody? I see people jumping in the space call. How are you all today? Hi, Mike. What's up, Mr. Verified? What's up, Don? How you doing, man?
What's up, Spence?
Just chilling.
Adam's got to say. He's gonna be ballsy to speak about naked shorts.
Oh man, I hope. He's already done 2 interviews, apparently, one with Yahoo and one with Kramer, where he handled them pretty good. Yeah, I would love to hear him say something about FTDs or something, or even DRS again. That would be amazing.
What did he?
Yeah, hold on. I had a link up for it. I think it was it yesterday evening that's when that happened? Let me see if I can find it. We have probably about 20 minutes before claiming, so let me see here. Who posted it? Jana. I think it was Jana E. Jana? Is that her name? There she is. Yeah, let me see if I can play it. It's Fox Business. There it is. Okay.
It does seem like the number of movies are down big, and frankly, I don't get it. Because you prove without a doubt in your conference call that it is better to release a movie in the theater than it is to go this direct to consumer. What is taking them so long to realize how rabid customers are for more movies?
That is one good question. What is taking them so long giving us more movies? Because if you go back in time when people were afraid to go out of their homes, we understood it then, but that's not where we are in America these days. That's not where we are across the globe. Life is returning to normal, and if you actually look at movies on a per title basis, they're doing very well. People are coming out to our theaters. We're going to prove that again this weekend with Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. But the number of releases that has come out of all the major Hollywood studios combined is down still about 20 to 30% below pre-pandemic norms. Now, what they tell us is that these are all the production delays that were caused during the height of COVID. It does take about 2 years to make a major motion picture. So we're hearing that all the studios, I don't want to say all, but most of the studios are scrambling to dramatically increase the count of theaters, theatrically released movies. We're expecting the movie count in 2023 to be significantly greater than in 2022, and again in 2024, more than in 2023.
Don't miss a second of Mad Money. Follow at...
I think that was pretty much it. And Jana, thanks for posting that. Jacked your tweet. The Yahoo one was basically them talking a bit about just basically the movie industry type stuff. So Oh, not yet, man. I'm trying to open the space call on my PC and it's just saying set reminder. Yeah, it's really weird. I hope I didn't open. Yeah, I opened the right space call. Sometimes it does it. I'm trying to get the space call up for the YouTube viewers. Here we go. There it is. Join space. Okay, now let me get all this ready. The right space call. Sometime. There we go. YouTube viewers. Here we go. There it is. Join space. Okay, now let me get all this ready. The right space call. Sometime. There we go. Mute my mic. Okay, now we should be all set up on both platforms. Let me check your message, Don. It's unbelievable how much DRS FUD is being spun in the community right now. It's absolutely unbelievable.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Don. Because we're buying something. AMC Entertainment Holdings tokenized stock. Yeah, we need to talk about that. I actually don't know very much about this. It's the first time I've really seen it.
Me too. That's why I found it intriguing, because last video George Donahue made was talking about FTX.
Yep.
And we all know that FTX is just falling because Binance pulled out. And he's stating that Binance pulled out because it looked at FTX's books and it didn't make any sense. It was scary, so they pulled the deal out. And on FTX's books, as per CM Equities, it's supposed to have 400 million shares of AMC. And then I found that intriguing. So I was like, all right, well, you know what? Let me look up tokenized AMC. And then I pulled up crypto.com, and they also had it displayed. And I'm like, well, wait a minute. So if these exchanges are displaying this, in order for you to buy or sell any of this, you would have to be having some type of shares within your books, correct?
They can tokenize a stock. Like, say this. You want to sell a stock that's not tradable in another company, you would in another country, you would tokenize it. It's not it's not guaranteed that they actually have to have the shares, though.
But that's the crazy part, right? So now, if you would have to be forced to find those shares to make good on the deal you created your transaction.
Not necessarily. Because all they're selling is a token, man. They're just saying it's tokenized AMC, but AMC Theaters never approved or issued any type of security token for their stock. So basically, AMC security token is someone selling that to people who think they're investing in AMC Theaters, and they're really not.
Huge scandal, bro. That's taking away buy pressure that could potentially be going into the actual stock because people are being deceived.
Here's what I'm wondering: who the creator of the tokenized AMC
My point exactly. My point exactly. And so when FTX went into this problem, who were the people that decided to make FTX fall?
See, there was a tokenized security over in Europe that we talked about years ago, like 18 months ago. Let's see, Coinbase, AMC Entertainment Holdings tokenized stock FTX. Let's look it up and do some DD on the fly here. But I'm pretty sure they probably don't have to have shares of AMC to do this. Because if it was tokenized directly to the stock, it would be trading at an equal price.
Exactly. That's another thing. I said it didn't make any sense. But the fact that they actually have AMC Entertainment Holdings, you're basically ripping off the company name. That's like a major lawsuit that Adam can easily freaking go against these exchanges and make money off of the lawsuit for using the company name. That alone could pay down the debt.
It says AMC Entertainment Holdings is not supported by Coinbase.
But it could still be searched on Coinbase, correct?
Yeah.
That means it's in something. It's in someone's exchanges. They're they're advertising and selling it in some exchanges. Coinbase is not supporting it, but there's other ones that are supporting it.
It's all FTX. Wasn't Citadel going to control FTX at one point in time?
There you
Wasn't
go.
FTX talking about buying Robinhood too?
Yes, sir. There you go. There you go. You see the method? So I'm wondering, because the price is low, is it possible that these hedge funds found a way to sell their short positions via a tokenized coin?
Probably. That's what I'm wondering.
That's what I was wondering.
If they're creating
Ah.
FTDs, then they could be, since they're selling synthetics, which is crushing our stock price.
Exactly.
Here's a Reddit post on October 20th about it.
Mm-hmm.
AMC is being traded as a tokenized stock. There was an AMC token out there a long time ago, too. They tried to do this. Let me see if I can find anything on Reddit. Okay, here's a good post. I read a DD. This is from BCRXXS on Reddit 1 year ago. I read a DD theory on SS as to why they do what they do with tokenized stocks. They use a form of ETF arbitrage that also allows them to take advantage of the price difference from the underlying security in the ETF basket versus the tokenized. They're using it in some form or fashion of some kind of swap or arbitrage, but they shouldn't be allowed to put AMC Entertainment Holdings tokenized stock unless they're actually tied to AMC Entertainment or have the approval to use the trademark name.
Facts, but they're tied to swaps, right?
It's got to be swaps, or it's got to be some type of arbitrage where they're buying back and forth.
Exactly.
So it's probably something just between hedge funds.
And part of our DD was saying that they're able to get away with this shit using swaps, correct?
Oh, absolutely.
Man, this will be huge. This will be huge if it blows up.
Here's the thing: is, like I told you guys, there is regulatory stuff out there saying that you can cover FTDs with like securities, of course, which I got attacked on for saying that too. But if you have a like security, if you have an AMC token that has the underlying function of an AMC share, and if you're selling synthetics in the open market, and you get into a little bit of a pinch, then you go, hey, other market maker, do you guys want to do a some type of swap deal where we sell you our bag of security sold, not yet purchased, over this tokenized security or some such? I got to do more DD on it, man, because it's definitely shady.
I know. That's why I said, I got to get this dispense. There's two people I can know enough that will dig through it and find out some shit. There's you or Boss Blunts. When you guys do videos, you guys freaking are very thorough and scalping information, getting it.
Yeah, I'll look into it more here in a bit. Trying to figure out where we're at here with Charles Payne real quick.
Hey, Spence, DWAC breakout.
Oh, wow, that's fun. That's good because this morning it was doing rough. I was worried. I already sold out after that big run, so. How about that NCMI, though? 40% the other day, 9% today. All right, let me reset my Fox stuff here because I got to figure out when Clayman's coming up. Usually her interview is a little bit later in the thing. Okay, so Charles Payne is still on. Once I see Clayman pop up, we'll see what she says the first couple minutes until we see Adam Aron pop on, and then we'll go to the interview. But here's the thing I want to talk about while we're waiting real quick, and I know I've been kicking a dead horse this week on DRS. I hope everybody understands that when you buy a share from your broker and it goes to a market maker engaging in payment for order flow, Your broker's getting paid for your trade. They go to the market maker that gives them a synthetic share. You're now holding an IOU that your broker got paid for. Then your broker decides to loan it out to a short seller, making them an unknowing naked short to some hedge fund. So now your share has diluted the stock price twice. When you DRS, that forces your broker to go out and recall the share that you own they lent to be naked shorted. So when you DRS, not only do you potentially close a naked short or a legal short, you also force them to go buy a real share out in the open market, clearing that synthetic. So this is why I don't know why people are flooding DRS so bad, but my theory on why so many big YouTubers are flooding DRS is because they actually don't own shares. They buy call options, and then they say they own a bunch of shares because they own the calls. Because when you DRS, it puts your name in the book at the earnings call for every AMC earnings call. So if I walk into an AMC earnings call and I look down and say like, we'll just name them Big YouTuber A. And I go in there and I look at the book and there's no Big YouTuber A on that book because he didn't DRS, then, that's something weird. Or if they do DRS and they only have like 10 shares, I think this is why they're against it. But I'm telling you that the intensity and volume of the DRSing of APE and AMC shares in Q4 has a better chance of causing a squeeze than anything else that we've ever had. Because right now, and that's why Adam Aron said it, right now, we're running into Q4, which is going to be our biggest quarter in the past 5 years. They are going to make a shit ton of money. Wakanda Forever already sold 50 million pre-sale tickets, or $50 million worth of pre-sale advanced tickets. And Black Adam is still kicking in the box office with Avatar 2 coming up. If there is a DRS blitz, brokers are going to panic because they're going to have to run out, recall a ton of shares they lent that they weren't supposed to, which is going to force shorts to close their positions. And when they do, that makes the price go up. And here's two of the biggest FUDs that are out there right now. One, somebody, and it's Casey Shaw. He is spreading FUD saying he said, if we DRS the float, there's no short interest and we can't have a squeeze, which was the dumbest thing I've ever heard. And I'm not even personally attacking him. It's just stupid. If you DRS the float and there's no short interest, that means the shorts have covered and you're squeezing. We have 20% short interest right now that needs to be covered. If we DRS and we see that drop and the price go up, it's because they're covering. DRSing is not just going to cancel out short interest. You got to remember that short interest is unreported. More than likely, AMC and APE are shorted way past 20%. So it's just crazy. The other FUD is, well, if GME DRS, then why is their price so low? Well, check this out. GME did a 4-to-1 split. They're technically at $88 right now. And the only reason that they're sitting at 22 after the split is because they did DRS 50% of their float. GME is at $22 or more today. What's it at today? $24.56, and AMC is still under 8. So you can't come and tell me that the GME crowd DRS and half of their float is not helping. It puts a lot of pressure on. Every share you DRS is one share that cannot be loaned or shorted. That is a fact. So all this FUD from all these other tubers who have led us from 72 to 5, they need to just stop and admit they're wrong.
Yeah, I'd just like to add on to what you just said about DRSing. And I'm a firm believer of DRSing your shares. I mean, not just for AMC and GME, specifically those two, yes. I mean, there's other companies. So you're going to get a lot of people that says, oh, this is just for GME. I'm like, dude, computer shares for other companies. Just go on there and take a look, do your own DD. And then when people talk about, well, it didn't work for GME, like, I understand it. Yeah, you're right. It didn't work for GME because, once again, retail investors that are on Twitter specifically, yeah, there's a lot of toxicity. There's a lot of back and forth. It doesn't work. It does work. It should work. But if you look at the numbers, what'd you say, 50%? GME
near
shares
50%. Yep.
Near 50. That's not enough. You need more people to put their shares on through computer share to DRS them, right? Well, the more numbers. So I mean, like, it's still ongoing. That's what people don't realize. People need to realize we need to DRS our shares. Like, one team, one fight. Everybody needs to do it. That's my take on it.
Here's the thing with GME. They have been doing it and building up the process over a period of 2 years. So hedge funds and market makers and brokers have had time to battle against them. Adam Aron came out. Think of this. Ape got shorted to death. Adam Aron did not dilute Ape, meaning the price didn't go down because of the 14 million shares he sold. The price went down, A, either because everybody sold their shares and they're lying about it, or B, they shorted the living shit out of the stock, which is what I think they did. So if Ape short interest is actually like 40 to 90%, Adam Aron just came out and said, hey, yeah, DRS, you can't short your shares. If everybody blitzed out and went and DRS their Ape, that would be the most ultimate bear trap in the history of the stock market, crushing them out of Ape. I think everyone, so if 860,000 people went and DRS'd 650 shares each, that would be more than enough to cause a squeeze.
Absolutely. And I just had this other thought too, man, and I'm just planting this seed in your head so you can maybe think about it. Now, you have a bunch of people on Twitter, they're on this space call. I mean, this is probably not, and obviously it's not going to be everybody that knows the play, that knows DRS and that knows computer share. I'm sure there's retail investors that own GME or AMC, Ape, and so forth, and they have no idea about the play. They're not even on Twitter. So, I mean, then you have to take into account people that are in the know and people who are not in the know. So, I mean, just say we have people in the know, and just say hypothetically 100% of people that are on Twitter listening to the space call or listening to Adam Aron and like DRSing their shares, maybe it gets up to 60%, and then we're still stagnant, still not going to work. We need, I don't know, like, I'm just using ballpark numbers. I'm not a mathematician here. And we may need more than 50, 60, 70, 80% for DRS to work. I truly believe everybody needs to DRS, and just say it doesn't work, even at 100%. Hey, it's a check in the box. At least we tried it and it doesn't work. We got to try something else.
Look what's happening with AMC today. Real quick, I want to say hi to Tara and PJ coming up for co-host. How you guys doing?
Hi, guys.
Hi, PJ.
If you guys haven't, please tweet out the call. I forgot to say that in the beginning. If you don't tweet the call out, people do not see it and they miss what we're doing. And then they come in my DMs and ask me what the space call was about for 5 hours. So if you could, I would really appreciate it. And go comment on the space call too. You know, Adam Aron, I wrote to John Merriweather months ago and said, can we get the DRS data on every earnings report? It used to be only the annuals. They complied with that. Every earnings now, we're going to get a 10Q that's going to show the DRS data. We are less than 2% direct registered with 15,000 investors. Just a little under 2%. When Adam Aron said that, people went out the next 3 days and started DRSing their shares. And today, I know the CPI had a lot to do with it, but AMC is outperforming almost every other stock in my watch list. So I refuse to believe that DRS is not already having an impact on the share price of AMC today. I'll tell this to everybody, and this is what should be spread. If you DRS a share from your brokerage and they have it loaned out and you don't know it, they have to recall that share, and that short has to close their position, which means we get upward price movement. So the intensity and the volume at which we DRS shares this quarter is, to me, the only thing that's going to end up saving this play. That's my personal opinion. Other people think just buy and holding with our shady brokers is going to do it. I do not think so. I think this is it. I think a lot of people have fudded it for the past 2 years, just like they fudded the STO dividend. And now we're sitting up here again with another solid idea that's backed by Adam Aron himself, and people are still arguing it.
Absolutely. And once again, this is your investment. This is your money. Please research and learn everything you can about computer share and DRSing. Ask questions, because at the end of the day, man, this is your money and it's all up to you. You don't have to DRS your shares. I'm not going to force you to. You know, I'm a speaker here. I completely encourage. I'm not going to try to convince you. This is all up to you. I truly believe about DRSing my shares at this point. And at some point, maybe it doesn't work. I will see if I can put them back in TD Ameritrade. But at this time, about 90% of my position of AMC and APE is in computer share.
And here's the thing. If you don't want to transfer your shares because it's too difficult or you're just unsure, you can start buying new shares directly from computer share. That still is very bullish because computer share then goes out into the market, buys those shares, and pulls them away from the DTCC. That's just new shares that cannot be shorted. And every step we get closer to logging, I don't think we even have to log the entire float, you guys. We just need a good 20-30%, but we need it in a very quick manner. The shock and awe value of DRSing in Q4, when we know we're about to break records in Q4, is going to be huge. I'm even DRSing my NCMI. I'm going to build a massive NCMI position, which is another stock that AMC holds because of their dividend. I'm slowly moving everything I do to computer share. And if you're unsure with APE, you can't buy APE directly from computer share because that's the way AMC and Adam Aron made it. And it was really smart because then market makers and brokers couldn't go to computer share and buy shares at $1.50. They have to negotiate it with Citi Global, which is brilliant. But you can DRS your APE if you transfer it. So if you want to DRS more APE, just buy it from Fidelity, transfer it to computer share. But if we make our shares unshortable, and at the same time during transfers, we're forcing our brokers to recall the shares they lent out that they weren't supposed to, that's going to cause a squeeze. That's it. You know, we've been huge on all these other catalysts like 14032 and phase 6 and dilution and this and that, and all the big YouTubers made all their money and sold their hats and their t-shirts. And now we have this directly from Adam Aron and they want to FUD it. I do not understand that. I don't get it at all. So whoever has done it and done the work and the research and has supported it, thank you. If you're unsure and you have questions, I've literally done nothing but answer DMs for the past 24 hours. I'm literally exhausted with it. I will tell everybody everything you need to know about direct registration. You can find on drsgme.org. The process is the same for GME and AMC, exactly the same. That website, whoever built that website, they deserve massive, massive props. So, all right, where's claiming at? What are we doing here?
Hey, Spence, I got a question for you, man.
Go for it.
Yeah, so regarding computer share, because it's the only deal with cash, right? So my question is, and excuse me if I don't articulate this question correctly or the best way. So it's, you have brokerage, their street name is on it. They use margins somehow to get it. I don't fully understand the mechanics behind that, but whatever. Computer share is just cash only. So just say you buy a share, it's $5, and then that share goes to $10. How does computer share acquire the extra $5 for that one share?
Say that again real quick. I'm sorry.
Sure. So computer share, you buy a share, just say it's AMC at $5, and this is a cash account, cash transfer agent. When a share goes from $5 to $10, hypothetically, where does the extra $5 come from? Like, how does the transfer agent or computer share get that extra $5 to, like, oh, I want to cash out I want to sell my shares now. It went from $5 to $10.
You mean after you buy the stock?
Like after you buy the stock, like, yeah, I bought it at
it just follows the market price. So they go and sell your share back into the market for that price.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. Computer share is not a brokerage. What they do is they take your order and they go to multiple brokerages and fill the deal at the best possible price. And then they pull the share away from the DTCC. When you go to sell, they will go back to the market, sell the share in, and the DTCC will gain back control of that.
Copy. Okay, cool. Thanks, man.
Yep. Yeah, we're still waiting on Adam Aron on claiming here. They did a little shout out about Wakanda Forever, which is pushing well over $50 million in advanced ticket sales. So I'm guessing $200-300 million for Wakanda. $200 million opening for Wakanda Forever would be very doable. But
I just want to say, what's up, PJ? What's up, Tara? I see Dade over there too. What's going on, guys?
Hi, Mike. Hi, everybody.
Yeah, if you guys want to contribute to the convo, just come up. It's pretty open space, so I'll just cut everybody off when Clayman hits with Adam Aron. I'll just say it's on, and I'll play it, and then we can go back to talking.
I'm lost words. I got nothing much more to say. But what's up, everyone?
AMC is still holding 18%, which is very surprising. That surprised me a lot. I am not surprised to see Ape down still at $1.34. Not surprised one bit. I think personally, and you can hate me for it, I don't care. I think their goal is to try to smash Ape down under $1 so Adam Aron cannot raise money with it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the market's obviously like pretty green today. A majority of the stocks that I hold, that most 10%. And I'm surprised too that AMC is at 18 to 20%. It's double than a bunch of other stuff that's going on.
Highcroft slamming 17% too, which is great. I love seeing that.
So what do you guys actually think this is, like, what do you think is happening right now with this pump?
Whenever I see a pump like this, I'm always like, all right, don't get too excited. It could be like a bait and switch. It's like, oh, I'm going to buy it because everything is going up, FOMO in. But then I always take a deep breath and I'm just like, oh, it could be like a bull trap or something.
So I think this is a typical bear rally and AMC is caught up in the bear rally, although it's lagging. Well, not really lagging percentage wise, but I don't know that this is going to last too much. And Ehor just tweeted the short interest. If anybody's interested, I will pin it to the top. It's kind of large. It's pretty big. It's more than what he reported last time.
I think this FTX and crypto liquidation that slammed was because big institutions and market makers needed to fix their bags. They needed to reset their margin. So we're getting a bear rally off of kind of okay CPI data. It wasn't really that shocking on the CPI data. So I think what they did is they had to come in and cover some shorts, and they're trying to get people to take some profits, and they're going to reset their positions going forward because now midterms is pretty close to over, and we know who's in control of the Congress and the Senate. So I think FTX had a lot to do with it.
Did you see that guy's tweet, Spence? The FTX tweet? He explained the whole thing, how it went down.
I didn't.
AMC 18% higher. AMC's New York City screening just started 16 minutes ago in Lincoln Square. Now, the shares are spiking as we speak because sneak peek screenings are hitting the screens, as we say, this afternoon. Tonight, they'll go all in. Let's bring in AMC CEO Adam Aron and get some expectations here. Not only, Adam, for the Black Panther sequel, but for the holiday moving-going season. But how are AMC's ticket sales trending for Black Panther?
Well, first, Liz, always nice to be with you. And
thanks.
Like, apparently, with our stock moving 18% today, you're a good luck charm. So I think if you can guarantee me an 18% rise in AMC stock, I'd have come back on the Clayman Countdown tomorrow and Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday. Why not? As for movies, I'm going to take you back in time about a year when Spider-Man No Way Home was a monster hit.
Yeah.
And then Memorial Day weekend when Top Gun Maverick came out and has grossed more than $1.6 billion around the world. But movie going in the last couple of months was light. The titles that were released were few and far between in August and September. But here we are. The Christmas movie season has begun. The sequel to Black Panther Wakanda Forever. I think it's going to be the second biggest movie of the year, second only to Top Gun Maverick. Our advanced bookings for Black Panther Wakanda Forever are like frothy. They are robust. This is going to be a monstrous hit. People who've seen the movie are telling us that it's extremely well done. We think it's word of mouth is going to be spectacular. Our hats off to Disney, but this is just the beginning of a very strong 6-week holiday run. Remember, Avatar 2, the Avatar: The Way of Water, is coming out in mid-December.
Right.
Damien Chazelle's Babylon is coming out. Disney's Strange World is coming out. There are a lot of movies that people are going to see in big numbers at our theaters between now and New Year's Day.
When you talk about the paucity of movie titles coming out there to generate more ticket sales, I would agree. I mean, Don't Worry, Darling, Where the Crawdads Sing, Black Adam. I mean, they've left people wanting more. What is going on with the film companies that's supposed to churn this stuff out?
So a buddy of mine once said to me, like, hey, you don't make the movies, you just show the movies.
Right.
So it's true. Like, we are in partnership with all the major Hollywood studios. They're the ones who make the product that we so lovingly show in our theaters. And what we've seen in the last few months is really COVID at play. It takes a good long 2 years plus
to make a
major motion picture.
Yeah.
And all those production delays in 2020 and 2021 because of COVID have slowed down the releases of theatrical titles now. But I speak to studio chieftains like every month of my life, and I can tell you that they're scrambling to get more movie titles out, released in theaters. They certainly saw that in Top Gun Maverick that they can make a lot of money when they release movies in our theaters. And what we're hearing is that while the movie count in 2022 so far has been down 20 to 30%, as we look ahead to 2023, the number of movies that are going to be released theatrical is going way up, and that'll also be true in 2024.
Okay.
So having more good movies to show is obviously something that's beneficial for AMC.
Well, it's the fuel that goes into theaters' engines. You just reported quarterly numbers. Revenue came in at $968 million, I believe. Definitely an improvement from $763 million a year ago. You did report a wider than expected loss on the bottom line. I believe the 12th consecutive quarterly loss. But would you venture to say that AMC's profitability can't return until movie studios increase their movie slates?
Well, actually, what you just said is right, because if you look at a company like AMC, we're the largest movie theater chain in an industry that was sized with a box office of $11 billion pre-pandemic in the U.S. and Canada. That's the basic unit of measurement, the domestic box office. A global box office of $43 billion. That's what we were sized for. And the box office in 2020 was $2 billion. And it was $4.5 billion in 2021. And it's going to be up 75% this year. And we think it's going to be up another 15 to 25% or more next year. But it's still not back to pre-pandemic levels.
Right.
And so, yes, we do need more movie titles. But, and this is an important but when you look at that trajectory, $2 billion to $4.5 billion to between $7.5 and to $8 billion this year, maybe over $9 billion next year, like, we are on a path upwards. We are on a path
Well,
to
that
recovery.
shows with the revenue. You're monetizing your theaters with a plan to turn them into Zoom rooms. What kind of demand for that and bottom line impact do you anticipate?
Well, here's the interesting thing about our joint effort with Zoom, and we're so pleased to be working with Zoom. Like, we've run our whole company for the last 2.5 years on Zoom. Whoever would have thought that in 2018 or 19 that we would be in a video conferencing world? You never would have had me on air like this. I would have had to go to a studio or come to New York.
So you don't have to schlep now.
And we don't know. And so, but what's really interesting is AMC does $20 million a year of meetings business right now, but we're limited in the sense that our meetings can only take place within 4 walls, within one theater, because we have no capability to transmit from theater to theater across the country.
Okay.
Well, Zoom Rooms at AMC is going to change all that.
All right.
We're going to outfit 17 of our theaters in 17 major U.S. cities with the most sophisticated Zoom technology. So not only will you be able to have 50 or 100 people in an auditorium in our theater, but you'll be able to interact with a similar number of people in theater after theater after theater and city after city after city And as I said, we've got $20 million worth of meetings business already. We think this is a real opportunity for us.
I like it. It reminds me of Peter Guber, who back in the day bought a lot of farm team arenas and baseball stadiums. I mean, we're not talking about the big ones. He's talking about farm teams, and then he turned them, when they weren't being used for games, into concert venues. So there's your revenue. I do want to ask you, because as we look at the stock, it is down about 63% year to date. Back in June of 2021, AMC was, what, a $60 stock. The retail investors were all in. By November and December, company insiders, including yourself, and we've talked about this, were selling shares anywhere from $27 to $40. You did telegraph that would happen on earnings calls, but some triangulate that insiders didn't believe the company was worth such a high valuation. That's why they were selling. Can you just clarify that?
No, Liz, I can't, because that's 2021 news. That's ancient history. What we're doing is we're focusing on bringing this company back, getting it through the pandemic. We have navigated AMC through the most difficult challenges that a company management team has probably ever been confronted with before. That stock that you talked about that was $60 a share in June of 2021, it was $1.91 a share in January of 2021.
We see that, yeah.
And we have been fully transparent with the public, with the public as to what the opportunities are at AMC and what the risks are at AMC. And our focus is on running the business. Do remember this. I am AMC's largest individual shareholder today, if you take out the institutional investors. I have not sold a share in the last 10 months. In August, I had something like $50 million of AMC stock. I am very much committed to running this company. It's a 24/7 passion, and the obsession that some at Fox Business News have about our stock sales in 2021 seems to be misplaced. What we ought to be talking about is what are we going to be doing to save this company, to give it a proud second century of operation, as proud and successful as it was in the first century of operation.
Adam, thank you. I wanted to give you an opportunity to address that. A Dutch Brothers CEO. Wanted to give you an opportunity to address that. A Dutch Brothers CEO.
Ooh, boy.
Okay. I have to say something.
Let me get this back up on YouTube real quick, Tara, so they can hear you.
Okay. I really just want to say something. What, you weren't playing the interview on YouTube, Spence?
Okay, we're good. Go ahead.
Were you not playing the interview on YouTube?
No, I was. I got to cancel the space call so they can hear the interview, and then I got to put the space call. We're back up, though.
I just want to say really quick, number one, I've done some research of my own, and AMC prior to the pandemic, when Adam became CEO of AMC, the stock was at $25. As Adam was the CEO of AMC Theaters, the stock went down to $4 before the pandemic. So that's number one. The way he sort of spins things, it always is in his favor, and it's always in the board's favor, and how he hasn't sold any shares in the last 10 months. But prior to that, he sold every single share he owned. 100% of his shares he sold. So he doesn't mention that. Also, since in the last 10 months, the stock has absolutely plummeted. So of course you're not going to sell your shares at the bottom. No one wants to sell their shares at the bottom. I know those things have to be scheduled in advance as well. So of course it would be much more convenient to sell 100% of your shares at $40 or $45 than it would have been at $1, whatever it was, he said, before the during the pandemic. So, I mean, I'm kind of sort of sick and tired of this, like, twist on the narrative and play on words and I'm the largest shareholder and all of these things, let's just say it like it is. Like, just be honest, because it sort of becomes like it feels like a slap in the face. And the rest of us, you know, yeah, we're sitting here holding our freaking bags. Yeah, it's our choice. Yeah, we knew he was selling. He told us in advance and all of this. So, but there is a level of frustration when I hear him make certain comments and how the management has navigated these waters. I want to call bullshit, because honestly, AMC would have been boarded up by now if it wasn't for all of us. All of the people who bought up the shares and allowed the board to sell everything. And that's what they did. They did it at the first opportunity that they could.
AMC would have been bought out and just pulled apart by Amazon or somebody if we wouldn't have came in. And I will say that watching that interview, Adam Aron got very triggered. That was a question he didn't expect. And his response back to Clayman made her like, go, are you serious? Like, her facial expression.
Well, let me just say, I'm getting this to my DMs. He hasn't even sold more because the bylaws require him to hold a certain amount of shares. I mean, like, it makes me want to puke sometimes when I hear some of the commentary coming out of his mouth, because it's such a twisted narrative. It's so not. I'm here. I've been here. I've watched it all play out. I've seen it. I've witnessed it with my own eyes. You can't lie. Like, you can't polish a turd.
Also, I want to just mention that, 10 months ago was the STO when Mark said that he couldn't sell his shares if he did the STO.
The other thing, too, is he talks about being the biggest shareholder, right? But how many of those shares did he use his own personal money to purchase? None.
Zero.
You guys want to know what pisses me off?
Yes.
What pisses me off is, he sold stock. That is what it is. They thought they were going bankrupt, and they were all given an opportunity to make a fuck pile of money. I would honestly say that if everybody on this call was in the same position, they probably all would have. My fucking gripe is lack of fucking preparation, right? Number one, he clearly doesn't have anybody paying attention to the social media and who's doing what and who's trying to take his company down. For 18 consecutive months. Okay, why do I do what I do? Anybody who knows me sees how much time I spend doing one thing, and it got me put back in the penalty box. But it was, oddly enough, whatever. What pisses me off is a total lack of preparation to have your head on a swivel and understand that Fox News is not your fucking friend, okay? And be prepared. And when Liz Clayman drops that fucking bullshit, I guarantee you they were like, come on, talk about your quarter, talk about, how things are going forward. The whole premise of that interview, it was obvious. The whole premise, she could not wait. If you listen to that interview, she was like, yeah. I don't care about your movies. I don't care about anything. Let's get to your insider sales, right? The whole premise of this fucking interview was to highlight insider sales. Once again, Fox News is pulling the rug on him. And he's not smart enough to be like, hold on a second. And what he should have done is had Charlie Gaspagarino's 400 tweets printed on a stack of fucking paper. And when she asked him that, say, well, no, you know what, Liz, you know what I want to talk about? I want to talk about why your correspondent with 160,000 followers, this is a stack of his negative tweets on my company. I want to understand why your company, Fox Business, for 18 consecutive months has been attacking and trying to undermine my company. I have identified these 5 tweets that are flat out lies by your correspondent, Charlie Gasparino. Let's talk about your role in this and your network's role in this. If anybody who I expect the CEO to understand who the enemies are and who the friends are, if we all know that Fox News, I couldn't believe it. I was saying to PJ, texting with her, I was like, I can't fucking believe he's going on Fox News, And she can attest to this. I texted her. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Holy shit. So I'm pissed because what I want is I want a guy to fucking fight. I want a guy to be like, you know what? Gloves are off, Liz. You're not going to walk me down this path of trying to set me up to just talk about the insider sales. Let's talk about your network trying to destroy my company and our company, period. And hammer back. She would have shit her diaper if he held up a stack of fucking Gasparino's tweets saying, someone explain to me why this guy spends every waking minute of his day attacking my company. I want to know who's doing this and why you're doing this. Instead, he lets her do that to him, and where he's like, hominy, well, and he looks like he looks like an idiot. And so, like, Tara's response, yeah, it is infuriating that they highlight the insider sales. That's by design. They're trying to undermine and piss everybody off at the company so they sell. There you go. That's why I'm fucking pissed.
I mean, how many other insiders? I mean, the Fed sold, like everyone sold at the top of the market. Everyone. Mark Zuckerberg, he was dumping shares, I mean, on a massive scale. You can't just sit there and act like Adam Aron's the only one. You know what I mean? But at the same time, it's extremely disheartening. Like you just said, him going on, you're literally hanging with the enemy, like Jim Cramer. Wasn't he on with Jim Cramer yesterday? Yeah. Just yesterday? Yeah. I mean, these people are disgusting human beings, and they've treated your shareholder base like complete trash. I mean, like belittled us to the point of we are welfare recipients. Like, I mean, come on.
My point is where Adam Aron needs to be held to account is lack of preparation. If you're going to go into the den of thieves, Fox News, right, Fox Business on AMC, will go in prepared. And they're like, oh, you're going to set me up? Guess what? I'm going to set you up, right? He had an opportunity there to undress Fox Business and to call them out for the lies and the slander and the bias. Instead, he wasn't prepared. That's a
running theme, though.
Well, has anyone seen the interview? Have you guys seen the interview with Elon Musk? It was years and years ago when Tesla was not doing too great, and Jim Cramer was talking all this shit about Tesla, shorting Tesla, and Elon was so quick with it and brought up Bear Stearns immediately and was like, "How's that Bear Stearns working out for you?" Yeah, and it's like those kinds of comments are so on point. Like, this, you have to call it as you see it. And it's so true that Adam could have simply just said, you know, even at the end, like, I hope you guys are having fun, you know, trying to tear down a 100-year-old movie theater chain, you know, that made it through a pandemic. Like, he could easily, you know, twist this back on them.
It looks like AMC is trying to hire a social media manager, but this
go ahead.
They're so out of touch.
This is the biggest. This is the biggest problem here. Is Adam Aron implements some great things, but we do everything so freaking slow. You can't be this slow and miss hitting the iron when it's hot in a market that runs at milliseconds. You can't.
Yeah.
Well, honestly, I think it just kind of illustrates he's playing both sides. He loves retail's money. You know, he saved his ass. And he's been around for a long time. These people are his friends. So I always had the feeling he's going to play both sides. That's why I never really thought we'd be able to mow ass, because he always had tools to slow it down. I think he's looking for like win-wins. I don't want to, you know, destroy my friends, destroy the people who loan me money, you know, my bondholders. I don't want to destroy my media friends.
Yeah.
But I need to get the retail made whole as well. And it's like he's playing the middle line. I don't think he got duped per se, besides that question. I think he wouldn't answer it like an Elon answer, because I think they're his friends, where Elon thinks are disgusting. I think that's really the deal. That's how I feel.
I guarantee you Liz Clayman did not tell him that we're going to talk about your insider sales. You could see that was a trap. That was a setup. The whole premise of the whole interview was to talk about insider selling. They're disingenuous. They have a motive. They have an agenda. I just think that like it's like when you go out with your girlfriend and some guy grabs your girlfriend's ass and he's much bigger than you. At some point, you got to fucking stand up and say something. Even if you're going to get your ass kicked, you have to go defend and act like you're fucking pissed off. That's what bothers me. It's oh well, well, you know, no.
But how pissed off is he? But how pissed off is he? He fucking sold. Like he's out of
not.
the play.
He's not
Why
pissed
would
off.
he be mad?
He made $30
Exactly.
million.
He made bank. Like the guy is breaded because of all of us. He is absolutely loaded. His family's family will be breaded. I mean, these people are going to be rich for life. Like, why should he even be mad? He's not mad. He's like almost giggling. Hold on. I'm going to finish talking because I can't hear you. It's like mumble, but I'm just going to say really quick. And I'm sorry, I'm very heated right now, but I do think that those questions need to be answered. I do think that Fox Business, honestly, just saying it like it is about insiders, I mean, it is what it is. You know what I mean? Like, they're not lying. He sold 100% of his position. And it was a position that he never bought in the first place. Yeah, he's paid in shares. So it is what it is. We can't deny it. Those are the facts. Whether you like it or not, those are the facts.
The other thing, Tara, too, is we forget about. Remember way back when it first started, he gifted his boys, I don't know, it was like 500,000 shares each, I think, or something like that. Now they're outside the insider. I'm curious if his kids still own those shares. You know, remember? Do you remember that? It was way at the beginning when he was on trade.
Them shares are gone, man.
Oh, I guarantee it. I guarantee it. But they probably.
His son runs his own trading thing now off of LinkedIn or something like that.
Yeah, so we forget about that. We don't talk about that. I honestly just don't think he's ever going to confront them because that's not him. He's playing both sides. Like I said, I was going to do a poll today on Twitter, but I think, what do you think Adam Aron loves more, the actual ape person or the actual ape person's money?
The money. But here's
okay. Can I say one more thing just really quick? I'm sorry, Spence, to T-Dog. I've gotten multiple responses on Twitter from Elon freaking Musk. I've gotten absolutely zero from Adam Aron. I've held 15-hour-a-day spaces about his stock, about his company, talking about going to the theaters. I've given away gift cards for AMC theaters. I've built an entire almost 100,000 person platform because of AMC theaters, and he can't even like a tweet or say, like, he doesn't even need to thank me or anything. But I mean, Kat is out running billboards and airplanes, literally doing their advertising for them, using shareholder money, and you can't even get a like, a retweet, a comment, anything. I mean, let's be honest. Like, it is just a huge slap in the face. So you're 100% right. He likes the shareholder money. Not. It doesn't matter what we're doing over here. It doesn't matter what how much effort we've put in. There will be zero response to that. So, and I've sent emails, a lot of amazing ideas have come out of spaces. And yeah, it was a roadblock.
I'll tell you this. Adam Aron's doing what he's doing, and we all see it and we all know it. If you can't admit it, then you're just worshiping the man because you think the stock is going to go up because of it, and you're wrong. What really pisses me off is we've had a tool to do a reconciled share count on our float for 2 years, and community members are out there too worried about selling hats and clout chasing instead of looking at computer share and just DRSing the shares so we know who owns the float. So Adam Aron's looking at us like, well, I gave them the opportunity to do this and they're not. So I'm just going to take their money and move on. The whole finding hidden messages in Adam Aron's tweets and, phase 6 is going to be the catalyst and 14032 is going to be the catalyst. These YouTubers and these people, these clout chaser grifters, are out there to take your money for entertainment value. They do not care if the stock squeezes. I doubt half of them even own shares. They probably own call options and just say they own shares. That's why they don't like DRS, because they would have to go out and put money into the play to DRS actual shares. Now, I'm telling you, Adam Aron, I requested that they put the computer share data in every earnings call. They did it this earnings call. John Merriweather even responded to me on that request. A day later, 3 days later since the earnings call, 2 days later, people ran out and started DRSing. AMC is overperforming every stock in my watch list today because there was a push and a shock and awe of people DRSing their shares for the past 3 days, meaning brokers had to go out and recall shares they loaned to short sellers. That is what is happening today. So I'm just saying, people in the community are too worried about tweeting the truth because they think they're going to get attacked. And then you guys come to my DMs and tell me I'm right and you appreciate me and all that. But if you don't go out into public and tweet the truth like me and Tara and PJ and Pedro are, it's a waste of time.
You will get attacked. You will get attacked. Believe me.
Hey,
and who cares? If you can't handle the heat, get out the kitchen. Like, why are you here? I'm not here to ride the fence. You know what they say about riding the fence? You get splinters in your ass. I'm not here to sit on the fence. And the only reason I came to Twitter was to speak my mind regarding the buy button situation that should never have happened, that these CEOs have still never even brought up. The fact that their buy button was completely swiped on their stock. I mean, it's wild. I'm sorry, Mike. And I'm sorry, Pete.
No,
I'm fired up today.
No,
I'm on another level.
Let me finish real quick what I was saying. We need your support publicly out in the Twitter feed. That's the most important place, because the more people that support something that's going to work, the more people will jump on board. That's it's public opinion out in Twitter. There's going to be a group of people that fought it, and there's going to be a group of people that don't. And the side with the more comments and tweets wins. Go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, so I just want to tell you, like Spence, Tara, PJ, Pedro, I really appreciate your words, your questioning attitude, and that's what I'm talking about. Before this gets out of context, this isn't a place to shit talk our CEO. No, you guys are still for the company, still for Adam Aron, but it's okay to have a questioning attitude. There's a difference between shit talking and having a questioning attitude. I just want to point it out because other people may take this out of context, and that's not what this is about. This is about having a questioning attitude. Yeah, and I'm sure it will, but it's okay to have a professional questioning attitude, and I appreciate you guys are not like saying, "Hey, fuck you, Adam Aron." It's more like, why is he doing this? How come? It's called the 5 W's: who, what, when, where, why, and how, and sometimes how, right? But just have a questioning attitude. This is your money on the line here. So I really appreciate you. Thank you very much, guys.
All right. This is my first time ever on a Twitter call or anything. But
hold on. There were hands. I'm sorry.
Oh.
There were hands.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Wait a minute.
My bad.
That's okay.
No worries.
That's okay. So I think it's Don Fredo, then Sugar, and then and the facts and the Fed.
Okay. My bad.
Thanks.
Yeah, so touching base on what Tara mentioned, I don't think you forgot that in 2017, AMC did talk about, it being heavily shorted, and that's why its price was so low, and that was before the pandemic.
That was 2019.
No, 2017, there was another video of Adam Aron. No, the 2019 was the pandemic. Look it up. There's another
video of Adam saying that was in 2019. I have the clip.
There's another one in 2017.
Okay, send it to me.
I'll look it up for you, and then I'll send it to you. And then on top of that is that, the timing of them selling was bad. Absolutely bad. Because,
not for them.
No, it was great. It was great for them, but it was bad for the cause. But at the same time, we ran up to 72, and nobody sold because we were looking for the bigger number, the bigger picture. And we could have made some profits, sold, made some money, then buy back in at the dip, but we didn't. So we can't be sourpusses at the fact that we lost value because we didn't, raise to an opportunity where it was at a high, because we're looking at the bigger picture. We know the shorts haven't covered. We know that this can be astronomically a lot higher. Where there's setbacks, we expect the setbacks because look at who we're fighting against. It's the people that control the media. It's the multi-billion-dollar companies. This wasn't going to be easy. And all I could do is wash away with the past and let's look forward to what's going on. We're going to have popcorn sales. We're going to have credit cards. They're already talking shit about it. They want us, oh, no, just focus on IMAX. Don't come up with added revenue streams. Why? Because if they do come up with added revenue streams, it kills the whole short thesis.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, yeah, I do agree we should question decisions making that they do. You know what I'm saying? But I can't be too pissed that, yeah, they got a family to feed. They got to make money, too. But they did the courtesy of announcing it ahead of time. So how pissed can I be because you decided you want to take out profits? That's like saying that's like saying the stock hits $1,000, and I'll be mad if Tara sold all her position at 1,000. Well, wait, why? What were you holding for 100K? Why did she sell? Well, you had to make profits.
Right. You have to ride the waves, and that's the hard thing. That's the hard thing. It is a hard thing,
especially when you're emotionally vested. When you're so emotionally vested,
when you've built a following.
Yeah, but that's called emotionally vested.
And you have people who are really like dependent on a lot of the things you say, and so I think that's what's difficult for a lot of people to hear some of the opinions.
Yep.
Well, it's hard for people to hear my opinions at times because. So here's the deal. And a lot of people have called me a grifter and called me a lot of names here. I've never accepted money. I've never, gotten super chats or ran GoFundMes or anything like that. So I will never be forced to toe the line. I will never be forced to be a puppet on strings and, repeat a certain narrative or watch for sentiment or make sure that people don't, unfollow me or still like me if I say certain things. I say whatever I want. I don't care about followers. I don't care about any of it. I'll say what I want and I'll say what I think is true and accurate and not sit here and toe the line for a CEO who lined his freaking pockets on our behalf. And then to top it off, takes all of the credit. 100%. How many times in the earnings call did you hear him mention, the shareholders who saved his company versus mention his board and how they've navigated these trying times and yada, yada? I mean, let's be honest. Like, I'm tired of the underlying, it's a complete slap in the face. And that's how I'm feeling. And, maybe tomorrow it'll be a totally different thing. Maybe tomorrow we'll all of a sudden get all of this respect and appreciation that I feel, and it's not me personally, I feel every single shareholder deserves. So, yeah, but I get what you're saying. And, it's our personal choice to do what we need to do with our money. So when you see those profits, follow Adam Aron's lead and take your freaking money. Cash is king. Cash is king. He said it. He said it.
100%. You're absolutely right. And yeah, everybody's entitled to their opinion, especially when they have their own money invested on the line. And I do agree. I think Adam should be more vocal to its shareholder base instead of tweeting about memes and shit that people create. Like, it should be more involved on how we're going to get more added revenue for shareholders and listening to shareholder ideas like the AMC ideas that could easily have paid off the debt.
Bam. There you go. And that's it right there. So I appreciate it, and that's the thing. We don't all have to agree 100% of the time. And, this is such an amazing thing to be able to have these live conversations. They're like mini shareholder meetings where we can have these discussions and we don't need to agree on everything, but to be able to sort of hash it out and realize like we're all adults and you're 100% right. It was my choice to hold, just like it was anyone else's. So at the end of the day, that is on me. So I appreciate you coming up and making those comments. You're 100% right.
Hey guys, I have to butt in here. So I held 2 through 72, and I feel like it's the biggest regret of my life until I heard a group of women traders talking about a group of very good women traders talking about the very same thing. One of them held from $2.3 million all the way down to $822,000, which was her original capital. So I thought, my goodness, that's like nothing compared to what I did. And everybody makes that mistake. Don't hate yourself over it. Even if it's holding through, you should have sold at 15 or 20 and now you're stuck at 5 again. Don't look at it like a regret or a mistake. It's what you did and it's how you learn, and it's how you move forward. And from this trade, I learned that when an insider announces he's selling his stock, I'm selling mine way before he sells his. And so we have to remember that we learned so much from AMC. And it's not over, because I still think it's going to squeeze, or at least get a really good bump up to get retail out, because he knows that we're stuck. Number one. Number two, Fox News. Let's flip it a minute. And let's make believe that Fox News, they're the good guys for a second. What if they're trying to out a CEO for maybe repeated behavior that he's had in the past? Maybe, I mean, I don't want to plant, I guess I'm planting something in someone's head, but don't think about it like that. Just think about it as a flip side. What if he needs to be outed, and Fox News and CNBC are the ones that are doing it, even though I don't believe that? But what if there's that slight chance? We don't know.
Sort of like the FTX guy. I mean,
Yeah,
I'm looking at how many people called that, and no one wanted to listen. And now look at that guy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Mark's been calling it for months.
I don't know. I don't know if it's comparable. But I mean, I think we're all feeling pretty rug pulled at this point, but we did have warnings. So, I mean, and I remember Adam's tweet saying cash is king, and thinking to myself, it was when he was selling his shares, and thinking to myself, is he telling us to get out? Like, I almost felt like he was hint, like, you guys, the market is going to suffer. And sure enough, here we are.
And I'll tell you, this is why I get attacked so much. I told everybody, you're going to want to take profit on Ape at $3 on this next run. 285 hit. People attack me over it. The people who listened got out, got back in at $1.45. But if you're not going to DRS your shares, then you're just holding synthetics out in the open market because you can't prove they're real or not. Buy and hodl with brokers is a waste of time. If you're not going to flip it and make money and fix bags on the way down and just sit there, then you're just going to take loss. If you DRS, at least you're proving you own those shares, and you're potentially closing a short, an open short. The GME crowd has already defunded everything about DRS for the past 2 years. I don't know what more to tell people about how this play is working now. Buy and hodl was navigated over a year ago by market makers and hedge funds. They know what we're doing. They fixed their algorithms. They figured out how to do these swaps, how to use ETFs. If we don't shake up the game, this is just going to be more of the same, and it's going to crush the company.
Spence, you forgot to say they throw a bunch of people who say buy and hold into a community that brainwashes everybody else. I mean,
it does.
It's sick. It's sick.
And then people are scared to say their opinion because they're going to get attacked for doing any type of different strategy, which people take social media seriously. They take it home with them, and they feel bad through the day until they get, not acclimated, but assimilated into the mindless zombie NPC community. So that's why I've been shaking it up. I've been telling people to do other things. If people are going to attack me over that and over that because of DRS, then I don't even know what to say anymore, because I'll tell you right now, DRS is probably the only thing that's going to make this happen.
Hey, I know Sugar is going to go right now. This is Marantz. Hey, guys. Hi.
Marantz.
Hey, yeah, I just want to say something to you guys, because like I hear a lot of mature things coming out in conversations and not like the rah-rah stuff. So I want to commend, you know who I want to commend. It'll be Spence, it'll be Tara, it'll be the guys who've been here for a long time, even like T-Dog, guys who've come out. I've been on one side of the table for a long time. You guys know that. And I want to thank everyone, because the way it comes out is I've done more homework than I would have done, than I wanted to do. I want to invest where people are excited and people want to do great things. And I can't, because the things that hold me down are distressed investing, right? And I found out what that all meant and why they do it. That's why I say, well, if you're still connected, like Adam Aron, I know we're finally questioning him, but I mean, I have from day one, but the distressed investor is like Mudrick, right? So Mudrick's putting in money into AMC, and why are they doing it? Because they see them their weakness. They see the weakness, the debt, and there's no path to recoverability, like to profitability, I should say. And they see it, they pounce on it, and then they change it and they morph it into another investment, right? And they already had that investment. That's the HYMC investment. So as long as Adam Aron is in AMC, and as long as Adam Aron is shoving money towards Mudrick Investments, which Mudrick is a short hedge fund, Mudrick is just distressed credit investor, and you can Google that term, distressed credit investor. I can't get behind it. I know you guys are out there. Some of you guys are stretched really thin. Some of you guys can't get out, or you're waiting and you're waiting for a pop, like I just heard PJ say. You know, she's hoping that it comes up. But I can't get behind it with the idea that he's still in charge. So until that happens, until private equity takes over, and or I don't know, maybe he does get outed by Fox, I'm on the sidelines here watching you guys, and I'm hoping and I'm praying that it can turn around. So I'm not against you guys like some people try to paint me out to be. It's more along the board of directors themselves. If I've ever said anything to offend you personally, Spence, you know, I've learned personal attacks are not the way to go out here in this world. And when I say I learned, it's because we've all been in this space for a while, making videos or putting out content, whether it be through Twitter or YouTube. But the personal attacks that have been happening amongst all creators out here, just trying to get out the message of, hey, this might be great for you. This investment might work out. I don't want to attack the personal people, right? Like, I want to attack the people that are at fault right now, and it's the way they're running the company. It's not so much as, you know, I know people want to focus on the stock market and the manipulation of the market and in the dark pools and OTCs and you name it. That's why we DRS our shares, right? That's why we do this on the GameStop side. But I want to focus on what they're doing from inside, how they're gutting the company by selling off their shares, yes, by lifting protocols to allow the insiders to sell off their shares. They lifted that in October of 2020. They knew exactly what they were doing. They knew they still had APE available to them on the table, preferred equity, and that was the last resort to finally get liquidity out of it. There's like so many things that have been painting this road that I would tell you. I don't know where they're going to get more money, but I know they're paying their executives in APE units right now with the RSUs and PSUs. So if you think APE's going to go up, for me personally, I don't see it when they're giving away those shares for free right now. So I'm just giving you fair warning. You guys know that I study it like crazy. No personal attacks, none of that shit. I wish you well. I thank you guys for always coming out and being fair with me. No, we're not agreeing. No, we don't see eye to eye sometimes, but that's what humans do. We can disagree without hating each other. So much respect to everybody here. You guys know I won't stop putting out info, no matter who attacks me, no matter who comes at me. Now now you guys know how I felt for 2 years getting attacked. I know you're getting attacked right now, but it shows that when you're getting attacked and you got thick skin and you're an adult, you can get past it. Just keep doing what you're doing, guys. Maybe you'll save somebody. Maybe you'll save somebody. Maybe somebody will hear you out, and maybe you guys will do the right thing. So much love to everybody, guys. Of course, I'm GameStop, but at the same time, I'm people, and I'm for the people. So I wish you guys luck. Peace.
You know, hindsight is always 20/20, isn't it? It's funny now to be able to sit and have a discussion like this, but prior, you know, nobody wanted to go down this road. Nobody wanted to think, you know, negative thoughts or think like, oh my gosh, maybe this is what's happening. You know, maybe this is what they're doing. It's difficult, but at the same time, I need to be very clear. I am still holding AMC. I am still holding APE. And so many people are going to think I'm just completely stupid for doing so. And that's fine. But now I'm to the point where there would be no reason for me to sell at this point. Like, I would rather just, I don't want to say it. I would rather just not even touch it. So, but it's difficult, and these conversations are difficult to have. And, you know, when you do, you know, build a following and feel like you have this pressure on you to not say certain things, it gets that much more difficult. I think that's a big part of why certain people have just tapped out. Like, it's easier to just go dark than it is to answer to the mob and to answer to the crowd of people, or to even raise questions to the CEO and say, you know, are you really doing enough for your shareholder base? So it's a double-edged sword. You could get the Terra that just taps out, gives up, and doesn't talk about anything anymore. and just takes this following that you guys have given me and squanders it, or you can get the Tara that continues to fight on your behalf, because I am you. I am not a CEO. I am not a board member. I am not making bank on other people's, backs. I am one of you. And that's why I have always promised I will use the platform that you have given me to ask questions, to ask pertinent questions that are brought to me. These aren't even necessarily things I'm coming up with. These are DMs, these are conversations, these are real people who are really wanting to know what in the hell is going on with our stock, with our company, with our money, with our investment. It's like going and investing in a brand new house that you want built, but then having no say over what's happening with it. Like, you would never do that. You would never just walk away and say, okay, just surprise me. Like, whatever you do at the end, they're going to build you a shack and they're going to walk away with all your money. I mean, let's be, I hope it's a love shack. That would actually be okay at this point. Some love. I don't want to ramble, but I want to just say thanks, Marantz. And yeah, I don't agree 100% with everything you say, but I don't have to. And in the end, we're all still going to be here on the bottom rung while these CEOs are making bank. So maybe that's the ultimate goal. Maybe I'll become a CEO. I'll let you guys know.
Cucumber Capital. Yeah, Marantz, thanks for coming up. I agree with you, man. And it shows a lot that you can come up and say what you said. So much appreciated.
Can I say one thing? Actually,
anytime, guys. All right, you guys have fun. I'm going to listen to this guy who talks right now, but I just want to pay my respect to you guys, everybody out here. Keep doing what you do. I am going to step down and listen. So thanks again, guys, and I appreciate you.
Thank you.
I personally think
David,
Adam is trying.
David,
Yes,
there's
ma'am.
a line. There's a line. You have to raise your hand. We have 3 people ahead of you that want to speak.
I did have my hand up, but I apologize.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, he did. He did.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought it was sugar.
PJ.
Okay, sorry. Ooh, my bad.
I think Adam's trying to wreck the company. I think he's forgotten what the base is. Pretty much the Bible Belt is who shows up to go see movies. I lived in LA. I've lived in New York. I don't think I ever went to a movie when I was in either of those places. My friends here are refusing to go see movies because of the content. And I think until the content gets changed, nothing's going to change. And I think if anybody should be at the head of movies coming into your home, it should be AMC. It's a household name. And that's really all I have to say.
Yeah, politically, I don't think that's going to happen. And that's just my opinion.
You're probably right. No, I would agree. But I think it's killing entertainment. When Dave Chappelle can't tell a joke without being tackled on stage, that's scary.
Absolutely. So a lot of people use that saying, go woke, go broke. And, I think numbers don't lie. So when movies are pushing certain narratives, they're suffering the consequences in major ways because, like you said, the moviegoers aren't supporting certain agendas. So that'll be something that I think the studios will honestly have to deal with, and not AMC, theaters, because I feel like, well, and I could be wrong, but I do feel like as a movie theater, it's kind of like, just give us your movies. Like, we want to play your movies and we make money, you make money. It's a win-win. But I don't think they're necessarily going to, roadblock certain things or say like, hey, we're not going to do that here. I don't know. I don't think they want to get too politically involved with, certain agendas, I guess. But who knows? Who knows where the future will go, what direction things will go.
I believe there's content for everybody out there. And I think that if I know a lot of people in Hollywood that are making just straight down the board movies that make fun of everybody, because that's what jokes are. Or any one of us, when we leave the room, somebody's going to be laughing about us, because we all have something that's uniquely different about us that makes us fun. funny, witty, smart, whatever, but there's somebody that's going to laugh at you. And that's okay. That's what movies are about.
Real quick, I just got a DM from somebody that is trying to DRS their shares from Fidelity. They keep just cutting the chat off. They just basically hang up on them. I'm telling y'all, all the brokers, all of them are loaning your shares out. It doesn't matter who it is. They're loaning your shares out because they're getting paid a premium to do so. So that's why brokers, Fidelity, TD Ameritrade, Robinhood, all of them, that's why they're giving everybody such a hard time, because they have to go recall the share that they lent to a short seller when you DRS. I'm telling you, this is it. The DRS push is going to make or break this thing. All right, back to hands. And David, thanks. I agree with you, man. Thank you for coming up and saying that. I'm not sure who was next.
I think it was End of Fed, or it might have been Sugar. My bad.
Yeah,
End of Fed.
Hey guys, thank you for doing this calls. My other account got suspended too, so this is my fourth account. And I spend what you, Tara, and PJ are doing. You guys have done more than any other that I know. Not making money, not grifting anybody, in this community. And it's just sad. I've never seen so many selfish people using other people to sell stuff, make money, and that's okay. You want to be selfish, make money, fill your pockets, do it, but at least have some kind of human decency to stand up for those people, those who are listening to you, in the hope that maybe you guys will stand up for them. And somebody was just here, I don't know, Don or some guy said that they, the AMC Adam sold shares because they had to feed the family too. You don't need $50 million to feed your family, man. You don't need that. There are people, the shareholder base of this community, they are still buying tickers. They're still buying shares. They got family to feed too. They got bills to pay too. A lot of people can't even afford to go to movies, but yet they are trying because they love this stock. They love the company. But the saddest part of all this thing is the lack of any action from a CEO who's more worried about his image, who's more worried about how people make memes out of him, how people start worshiping him. Why would we even started worshiping? Let CEO be a CEO. There are big majority of the people that has turned into a cult that has started worshiping this guy, and you can't ask questions. And if somebody does, they are a shill. You don't even know how much these people have gone through to held, buy and hold. And that was my life's biggest mistake. And there are very few things, I never follow blindly anybody. But when I came here in last September, I listened to the calls and, how it was all about community. I started with your calls, and I'm glad I did, because I got to see the good part of this community. But slowly and slowly, it started become about how many people have in the space calls. How can you control the narrative? How can you sell stuff? How can you generate money of these hardworking people? And then if anybody came out with the idea, whether it's a dividend idea or a silver dividend idea, some of the best ideas that came out of this call were put down, all because people can't see behind their grift. They just don't want this thing to go anywhere. And they say, yeah, squeeze and all that stuff. Dude, this stock is at $5. And you guys are still, there are people, I'm not saying you guys, there are people, those who are preaching people that this stock will go to $1,000. And our CEO will not even acknowledge, not even single basic thing like 43 million FTDs. Not any word about that. The space call, he said about DRS. Everybody is busy decoding his tweets. Any tweet he comes out, they're tweet decoders, those who just want likes and retweets. They'll come, oh, Adam came out with, look, we gonna do this, we gonna do that. He said that if you DRS, they can't short your share. I mean, what else you need from a person? Does he, or what should he just come out and say like, let's all DRS? Do you really want him to just do that? And what else you want? And then there are people in this community, whether it's Ape Radio, David Goliath, all those people, they are feeding people still bullshit that how bad DRS is, how bad this is, and how much it will do to squeeze, how much damage it will do to this and that. I have never seen so many selfish people in my life. And I'm glad the bigger part of this cult, you guys don't represent the America, because the America, I know they never silence people. They stand up for other people. You guys, a lot of this cult community that's become cult, those who are going after Spence, Tara, PJ, anybody, those who wants to do something, won't see your simple questions, man. Just simple. And all these things, phase 6, T plus 35, not even one catalyst came out to be true. And yet these people are making videos and feeding people bullshit opium.
You know what the funniest part is?
If you give them enough super chats, I heard they'll tell you the stock's going to $1 million.
Man, yeah. Tara, I have never seen so many selfish people in my life. And one thing, that silence of the silence majority. If you guys still be silent about DRS and all this, you are responsible. The silent majority is responsible for what's going on. The lack of standing up to this cult and Adam Aron and the board, the lack of guts. There are women like Tara and PJ has more bigger balls than a lot of you fucks, those who just busy preach him. Maybe grow some balls and ask him questions and hold these people accountable and stop preaching him. He is a CEO.
They'll just tap out. I told them to grow some balls and they left. So
Sarah,
I guess that was a no.
I'm going to send you my discount code for Matt Kors, a Manscaped ball shaver. Just so you know.
Oh my God. Just what I always needed. I mean, these huge huevos.
Like, it's my fourth account. I'm not scared. What are you gonna get me banned again? I'll come out with another account. You will never be able to silence my voice. And you know, I'm glad at least there are only handful of people, but I'm glad, I'm proud to call you guys my friend and your friend. You know, you guys have a lot
I'm
more
glad
guts.
Cowboy Sugar's back.
I just, man, it hurts me, man. Mark was right about every single thing. People went after that guy because he says it like he sees it. And if we would have even done half of his stuff, but no, oh, he's a short seller, oh, he's that. People could not see. It's just, man, but I will tell you today.
We're not allowed to talk to those guys. Isn't it a beautiful thing, Sugar, when you don't accept money, so therefore you don't have to live under the rules of the cult? You don't have to live under the rules that you're only allowed to associate with certain people, you're only allowed to talk to certain people, and so on and so forth. I mean, you've seen, and a lot of other people have seen, the original people I rolled with here, they go and when they know I have a scheduled space, they start their own to kind of like compete with me or whatever they're trying to do. And it's just, at some point you have to understand, like, more and more people are feeling frustrated. This isn't just me. I'm not alone feeling this way. And, you know, I'm going to speak for those people who feel like they can't speak for themselves. Their accounts get banned because of Gasparino or whatever. Like your account has, you said you're on your 4th account now, which is crazy. I mean, I'm going to continue to speak my mind. I'm going to continue to speak up for the people in the back who can't get their voices out there and can't be heard. And, you know, other people can continue to do what they're doing. They can continue to do free advertising for AMC and run billboards and banners and stuff. And so many people have asked me, when protests, like when can we go out and protest and all of this? And, you know, you do what you want to do, but the only place I would be protesting right now would probably be at AMC headquarters and asking CEO Adam, what in the hell and why did you not do, number one, the STO a year ago when we were sitting at 40, that was not illegal, was called likely illegal by him, and it wasn't. Why in the hell did you not do any of the things that, you know, we've suggested and recommended throughout? Instead, came out with this ape dividend that screwed us even harder than we were already being screwed in the first place on the same NYSE. I mean, I'm sorry, but the only place I would be out with a picket sign at this point is in front of AMC headquarters and asking questions and saying, why are these the decisions that are being made? Who is in charge here? Like, if it's not you, who are you being held? Like, who are you being held hostage by?
I'm gonna just say one more thing, and you know, I'll step down. There is only one thing that I got out of this 18 months of echo chamber is good friends, and some people like you, PJ, Tara, and Mike. A lot of good friends that I got out of this community. And one thing I learned is how to trade. I will make my money back, but I will never trust blindly, or I will never trust a CEO who can't stand up for his shareholder base and who is more worried about his image than his shareholders. That's all I have to say. And I have a lot of respect for you guys. Keep doing what you guys are doing. But you know, and at the end of the day, there are more people trying to, you know, silence people than standing up for themselves. It's people have to decide either they are for the community or they are for the cult. It's that simple.
I just got a really quick, Sugar, I just got a DM from Bobo. He says the STO would have taken AMC from 40 to 300. CEO Adam tweeted out the STO is likely illegal, which it's not, because it would have restricted him from selling his 70 million worth of shares. Adam Aron screwed apes so that he could pocket 70 million. So, I mean, these are the comments being sent to me. If you disagree, tell me. Like, come up here, speak, talk. Let's discuss it, because that's the way I'm seeing it, and that's the way I'm feeling about it. And I fought tooth and nail last year, a year ago. I mean, I was like being just berated with attacks. To people wanted me to delete my account and all this, which I'm never going to do. But at the end of the day, there's only so much I can do if a whole group of people are, you know, standing up and saying, no, don't do it. We trust CEO Adam. We trust CEO Adam. Don't do the STO idea, because it came from Tara, and she's bad. Tara's bad. Adam's good. We trust the CEO. And now where has that taken us? You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, I'm not saying trust me over anyone. I'm saying we should be exhausting all options at this point, rather than watching a company that we love and believe in just get completely pummeled. I mean, are we going to be back to where it was, you know, during the pandemic? I don't know. I honestly don't know at this point.
I think Adam Aron came out on earnings with a fixed question about DRS. I think he knows Ape is in trouble. It didn't do what they expected, because the market makers can come out and do something completely fraudulent and not pay for it until 2 years later. So Adam Aron's going, oh man, well, if we can get him to DRS, at least we can shake the shorts up a little bit. If I'm telling you, the people that are against DRS are mostly against DRS because they don't like either me or Tara, or they don't like somebody who was pushing it before, or they got a bad taste in their mouth from, say, GME Maxi or something.
Spence, honestly, I think a big part of it is that they don't understand. A lot of people are afraid of things that they just don't understand, and they haven't taken the time to understand. And they also feel like they'll get a bunch of likes by being against it. So likes on Twitter outweigh likes on Twitter outweigh actually like doing anything or getting anything done. Yeah, go for it. And the Fed.
Yeah, I just want to say real quick, you know, first of all, shout out to
it was
Okay.
end of Fed. It was next. Sorry,
So Sugar said it very well. Mark has been right about damn near everything. Can we agree on that?
Oh, yeah.
Mark, from his own mouth, directly registering your shares is a waste of time. Let me say, there are pros and cons to everything in life.
When did he say that?
Months and months and months ago.
I remember the call. That's not specifically what he said.
Okay.
That's not it. He said he didn't really care. He thought it wasn't going to do anything.
Let's invite him and ask him.
Yeah, but
please
at
do.
the time we were talking about STOs and stuff, but
yeah. because everybody, it was made a big thing right when GameStop started doing it. I'm not here to attack or hate or whatever, any of that. I like all you guys. I hope everybody succeeds. With DRSing your shares through computer share and their terms of service for investors and policies. During volatile market conditions, sales of orders are not set at what you click sell at. And they hand your sale off to the broker you're trying to escape from that has up to 5 days. So in a squeeze, we can go anywhere from high and they can catch you on the low, sell it, and that's what you get. And there's nothing you can do about it. Secondly, the DTCC FAST program keeps computer share under their umbrella. Nothing is safe seeding co. Nothing. So the fact that people think just by moving it from here to there is going to force a squeeze or force shorts, it doesn't stop shorting. It doesn't stop naked shorting.
It stopped shorting on the stock that you direct register. That is a fact. So you are wrong on that.
I could not disagree with you more.
Well, I'm sorry if you disagree, but this is in the own paperwork. The DTCC can recall shares from computer share anytime they want.
No, they
through
cannot.
their FAST program.
No, they can't.
You can believe me or not, this is factual evidence on the DTCC website, and also on computer share website.
Once the share's pulled from the DTCC and registered in book name with AMC Theaters, that share is legally in a cash binding account in your name, logged with AMC Theaters through the transfer agent. The DTCC cannot pull your share back.
You should really look into it because it's there, black and white.
I've read everything that you're talking about.
Then what is the FAST program? What does the FAST program entail?
I've read every document you're talking about, and I'm telling you, I disagree with you completely.
Well, then what does the document mean? What it says?
Well, if you have a document, just show us, man. What's so difficult about it?
Is the call breaking up for everybody else, or is it just me?
A little bit.
Is it breaking up? Like, can you hear everybody? Okay.
I can hear you okay.
It's a little broken up. It keeps cutting in and out for me.
It's just when people talk at the same time, it usually does that. But if you have the document, if you could send it over to Spence and then you guys...
It's on the computer share website. It's on the DTC website. And that's the problem with our group is nobody researches this thing and everybody wants to be hand-fed. If people were to actually look into this and see the pros and cons, they'll notice when we squeeze, they'll be the ones caught left out.
No, they won't. Because when we squeeze, what's to say your broker's not just going to shut you down, or your broker doesn't go insolvent because they're Robinhood and they've been buying synthetic shares the entire time. You're making.
How do you think computer shares going to sell anything when they hand it off to a broker?
You're trying to make an argument based on the only thing we can do is keep our money in with the brokers, and that is such a bad idea.
No, I said there's pros and cons. Pros and cons. You can DRS your shares all you want.
But you're dealing more fear than anything else, though. You're dealing fear. That's what the fuck you're doing.
No, I'm not dealing fear. I'm dealing reality.
You're talking about what's in black and white.
Computer share hands off the sale order to a broker.
This is the most.
So if you're saying the brokers won't sell, then how are they going to sell it to a broker?
I disagree with you. I think Pedro disagrees with you. We're not going to spin this call into a.
Well, I'm just trying to present you the facts. I mean, you can go look yourself. It's right there.
Hold on.
And I urge everybody to do it.
Is there any way to read what he's referring to, or like look at what he's referring? Can you send it over to me in a screenshot?
The way he's talking about it is fear.
No, it's not. It's fact.
No, it's a difference between telling a fact and telling a fact with fear. You're doing it with fear.
So I'm interested in reading it. I want to know what he's referring to.
All I'm doing,
and the Fed. What is your position in AMC?
I have like 500 shares, and then I have about 200 GameStop.
Okay.
And I've been in since about December of 2020.
GameStop DRS process then.
Yes.
Okay. So what I'm going to tell you right now is that nothing you said is going to prevent your broker from doing 10 times worse.
Well, it doesn't matter if I'm there or not because the whole market's corrupt. But when we do run in volatile situations per their own policies, they don't sell right away.
So say this. We do have a big volatile squeeze situation, and computer share, you've got some shares in there and you're still able to sell. And let's just say it takes 3 days, but you're still able to sell. What happens to all the people that are in brokerages that completely collapse because of this and they can't sell a single share?
Well, then ComputerShare is screwed because they hand it off to a broker. They don't directly sell to the open market.
Brokers can go and buy. ComputerShare opens up to about several different brokers. So say this, people who are in Webull, Robinhood, Moomoo, they take your advice. They don't DRS, and those brokerages go completely insolvent, and they don't have any shares in ComputerShare that can go to the 7 other brokers that are still working. Yes.
Can I see something?
Nothing's going to stop them, just like last time. They stopped all trading.
Look,
that's not true.
I mean, you can agree, disagree. I just want to present the facts. It's on their website.
But you're not presenting
terms
facts.
of service.
And the
Terms of service, investor policies. It says clearly, right there, in volatile situations, about how they can sell it at whatever point they want, and whatever they sell it at is what you get. There's no disputing it.
Bro, you're afraid. You're afraid. You're afraid. That's all it is. And
I'm not afraid of anything.
Keep reading the talking points.
There's a difference between telling a fact and telling a fact with fear. You're talking in a sense of fear. That's exactly what you're
talking to.
But you are. But you are. But you
They've
are.
got to
cut you off. You know, I just want to get this out here real quick. I will never pretend to know more than anyone in this group. I am an infant in this world. I am learning as I am going. I am taking information from wherever I can get it. I'm reading whatever I can get my hands on. I'm learning and I'm growing. Big shout out to the homie Spencer. Spencer, you be holding it down. I got mad love and respect for you. Tara, you already know I got mad love for you. You one of a kind. You're definitely a good person, and I will always follow you on Twitter. But I came in this chat right now. I was watching you guys live stream on my TV. I'm watching you talk through my TV, and I decided to talk. And I came here to talk about Adam Aron. I'm going to put it to you like this. I've been in the streets for a long time, all right? I know a punk when I see one. Now, I hate to say this about Adam. I really do. And something tells me he got people that be listening to these calls. Maybe he listened to them himself. And I hope that he hears this. You need to stop being a fucking coward. You look scared. You sound scared when you talk. And you need to grab your nuts and be a fucking man. You got your kids watching. Be a man for your kids. You in the twilight years of your life, homie. You are old. You old enough to be my grandfather. And you allowing these people to punk you like this? You got to step the fuck up. For real, homie. This ain't a game, man. You got people, you got Americans out here. Americans. That's putting their money in this play because they want to be able to take care of their family for the many generations to come. Not just the kids they got now. I'm here for legacy money. You want to know my position? I won't reveal the exact number, but let me tell you something. It's mid 4 digits, homie. I put hella bread into this. I'm doing this for kids. I won't even get the meat that's going to be carrying my last name. That's what the fuck I'm here for. So when I see Aaron over here saying sucker shit, looking like a sucker in pictures, sounding soft on these goddamn calls, it pisses me the fuck off because what the fuck are you really doing? And Spence, I'll remind you of something I said to you some time ago about GG when I said he reminds me of the character that Scott Pollock plays in the movie Casino, where he's the face of the casino, but Robert De Niro really runs it. And I'm starting to feel like that's the same thing that's going on with Adam Aron. Who the fuck is running shit? Because I refuse to believe that you have this reputation as being a CEO and you've been around in the NBA and you making these fumbles. The way you fumbling the ball is crazy. It's like it's all planned, like it's all orchestrated. Some weeks ago, before you mentioned it, Spence, the homie Andrew Schaff, he said that Ape was supposed to run the 349. And at this time, we still don't know who's secretly behind HKD. And I'm like, well, do you really want to sell at 349? Or do you want to wait to see how far it can go like HKD? He's like, damn, I really could use that money right now, but I would hate to be the person who sold early and it could do something like HKD. The shit never ran to 349. It just got nerfed into the goddamn ground. And the only thing I could think of was that you're making that dude Lou from Wall Street feel like a fucking genius because he kept saying that shit. And I'm just like, yo, what the fuck is really going on out here? It's all fake. It's all orchestrated. I'm keeping faith in the play because I'm like, they can't keep doing this shit out in the open without someone finally stepping to them and grabbing them and putting them in handcuffs. Like I said, I've been in the streets a long time. I'm going to tell you something. The ones that's in the streets selling the drugs and they got that run for 10, 15 years, they snitches. You understand what I'm saying? And I hope this doesn't go over your head. They snitches and they've been in the street that long. There's no way you could keep doing this the way that you're doing it, and you're not working for the ops. You're not working for the enemy. Something got to be going on. I refuse to believe you just sitting back and letting them punch you all in your shit, and you're not defending your company. You're not defending your shareholders. You're not doing none of that shit. You're just getting punked. Every day you come to school, you getting your chain snatched. You getting your lunch money took. You getting your Jordans taken away. That's what the fuck is happening to you, Adam? You ain't even gonna try to throw a punch back? Not even one fucking punch? Come on, man. Something ain't right. Something ain't right. And I said some time ago when the ape hit the street, I said, I've never seen a hustler give out free bricks. And for those of you that don't understand that, that means I've never seen a drug dealer give out free kilos of cocaine. I've never seen it. And this shit came out here. This shit was supposed to be the next hot thing. This shit was supposed to take us up, give us a nice payday. And that shit just went down effortlessly like it was nobody's business. And he just let it happen. And if DRS is truly the thing that could save us, why the fuck he didn't say this months ago?
They've been saying DRS for over a year.
I haven't heard Adam Aron say DRS
not
until
Adam Aron.
Spencer put the fear of
We've
God in
had
him.
a lot of
He's
people
scared
in
of
here
Spencer.
that was trying to get people to do
He is
DRS.
scared of Spencer. Spencer scared the shit out of Adam Aron the other day. Spencer went on a fucking warpath,
I'm with you on
saying
Adam
nothing
Aron.
but
He's a
accurate
punk little
shit.
bitch.
And Adam Aron addressed that DRS shit at the end of that call out of fear of Spencer.
No.
Just like I seen Adam Aron speak out of fear when Lou was talking too much accurate shit. He got scared of Spencer, and he said that DRS shit.
I
Spencer,
totally agree
my
with
best
you.
advice for you, homie, is to stay on the fucking warpath. Keep holding his motherfucking feet to the fire, because he only said that shit because you kept going off. That's the only reason why he said that shit. He did the same thing with Lou and anybody else that come at him too hardcore and too correct. You get in his motherfucking ass, Spencer. Get in his ass. That's all I got to say.
KB, you just summed up Wall Street so that everybody can understand. That was an amazing, amazing rant. I respect you. It was, I'm speechless. I just texted Spence and Tara that you were making me emotional. You summed it up so that everybody and their mother can understand it. Thank you very much for doing that.
The only reason I'm still in the play, and you guys all know my misgivings about what's going on, is because I seen a group of people who believed in something that was going to happen, and I helped kind of push this for a while, even though it was me and Tara trying to push STOs and stuff like that. We were the first ones to start coming out as a group and question Adam Aron. I'm not going to leave everybody else behind. That's why I got all my YouTube money going back into the community. I don't take $1 for any of the shit I do, so I'm not compromised on my message, and I can come out and I can email John Merriweather and say, I want to see the DRS data, which is now reported to us quarterly, so everybody can see it. I'm telling you, he didn't come out. He did not come out and pick a random question about DRS to answer during the earnings call. They planted that question so Adam Aron could legally talk about it to let us know what we need to do to save Ape. That's all it is.
And he did not have to add that they can't short your shares if you have it direct registered. He didn't have to add that. He could have just said direct register your shares.
I didn't even know he could legally say that. I was blown away that he said it. And I'm telling you right now, if you're with Robinhood, Webull, TD Ameritrade, E-Trade, even Fidelity at this point, which Fidelity did get caught loaning GME shares out a year ago. They busted them doing
and
that.
AMC.
Yep. When you DRS your shares and you take them away from your broker, if they've loaned them out to a short, they have to recall those shares, which means they force close a short. You all have the power to do this. It's very simple. And I'm telling you, if you're unsure about it, then just go buy 10 shares from ComputerShare first and get your account set up and see how you like it. Because most people come back to me and go, oh, man, this is way easier than I thought. It's not that bad. But ComputerShare takes a little bit of patience. That's all it is.
I mean, yo, we got, like I said, we got Americans in this play who truly love America. We in the market. We're trying to do the right thing. We're buying legally. We're holding legally. We're following everything that we're supposed to be following. And we're getting the short end of the stick. And I just feel like this is an attack against Americans who's trying to achieve the American dream. And then when you see people who are ex-military, like Spencer, you know, who are involved in this play, who served this country, who've seen combat, and you still gonna give them the short end of the stick like they don't go through enough already? Like Americans don't go through enough already. I like that, you know, it makes me laugh when people say Americans are spoiled. I won't go on into that conversation, but I'll just say this. I'd rather be here than anywhere else, but we damn sure deserve what's happening to us, especially when we playing fair and they playing super dirty, and we don't even have anybody to protect us, which is the job of Adam Aron. And people sit there and say it's not his job to facilitate the squeeze. It's not his job to facilitate the squeeze. You can say that all you want, but his job is to protect his motherfucking shareholders, and he ain't did that yet. He been sitting there getting his ass whipped, sitting in that corner, not saying a motherfucking thing. But these goddamn hints, and like Spencer said, you know, I didn't know he could legally say that. He should have been finagled the way to say that many a times. He should have been finagled the better way to say a lot of shit many a times. You know, and I hate to go off on Adam Aron like this because I got a lot of love for him. I do respect him as a man. You know, he's done a lot of great things in his life, you know. But
you can't respect somebody that took part of the money from AMC.
No, I respect him as a man.
And listen, let me finish. You can't respect somebody that took money from
I respect him as a man. I don't respect what's going on right now. That's why I'm flipping the fuck out, because I see all the sucker shit that's happening. And he's behind it, and he's not playing his part. He needs to really play his part. Like I told you before, I would never sit here and pretend to say that I know more than anybody in here. Like I said, I am an infant in this world. Okay? And I'm learning as I'm going, but I do know sucker shit when I see it. And this shit right here, this some real sucker shit that's going on. And he got to step the fuck up and be a man.
I agree with you, KB.
I agree with you. But listen. You know, I've held and I've sold and I've bought back in and I've sold. You know, but when they made that ape, I sold all my shit because I knew what it was going to happen. That was scandalous what he did. He took money from AMC to create something and then says, I'm giving this to you, the shareholder. How you giving us something that was already ours? And then you seen what happened from there. But he needed money. He needed money because he's going through a lot of he's burning cash. And, you know, the whole thing is he helped a lot. He helped out Mudrick with that gold line, right? Because he loaned him. He did him a favor. Now he did him a favor. And you're right, KB. Hey, there's a lot of sucker shit going on in here, right? I scratch your back, you scratch my back, and I'll leave it like that.
So, I'll tell you right now, the mechanism that I saw with Ape was that they were never going to let Adam Aron raise cash with Ape the proper way. Never. I mean, they did it to AMC. They crushed the stock so he couldn't raise cash. They crushed Ape so they couldn't raise cash. 43 million FTDs with a max short interest of 36%, which caught at $5. Then we plummeted to $1.45, which means Adam Aron either had to sell a lot of shares to dilute the stock, or they had to short the living shit out of it. And we know they don't have to report short interest properly. This effectively, though, has made the biggest bear trap in history. These guys are stuck in Ape. They're potentially, yes, they're extremely short on Ape. They've got a lot of money in FTDs and swaps and short interest that we're just not seeing. If people DRS'd Ape, it would force them to start covering those Ape shares, because anything you're buying out in the open market of Ape right now is either something that was already issued as a dividend, or it's synthetic shares they're selling you. Because the only way to buy new Ape shares is through Citi Global, and Adam Aron has to accept the offer. So if everybody's really going out and buying all this mass amount of Ape at $1.50, where the fuck is it coming from? It's synthetic shares being sold to your brokers that they are loaning back out to short sellers, killing the stock. And if you DRS that, they have to recall the shares you bought that they loaned. I just, it's so simple, it's funny. And I'm telling you right now,
one of the major FUDs out there about DRS is that, and it's coming from Casey Shaw. It's, well, if you DRS your shares, then there will be no short interest, meaning no squeeze. If you DRS your shares and short interest goes down, that's because the shorts are covering.
So what is DRS? Hey, Spence, what has DRS done for GME?
DRS, what is GME price at right now? 25?
Well, yeah. Well, say it's 25. They get a real split. They got 4 for 1.
Yep.
Yeah.
4 for 1. So they would be around $100.
It hasn't done nothing for them.
50% DRS.
It hasn't done nothing for them. And they got a shit.
Yes,
they
it
got
has.
a whole
Let me
lot.
finish.
Are you kidding?
Stop.
Are you
Stop.
kidding?
Don't, when you ask me a
But
question,
their
let me
float is
answer.
smaller.
Steven.
Go ahead. You can answer.
Steven. Their float's smaller. They DRS 50% of their shares, and they're sitting at $100. They are doing way better than us, and I'm telling you right now, they're getting close enough to where their board of directors can go out and say, we're recalling the stock because we have proofs of synthetics out in the market.
Hey, just a heads up, if half the people or less don't DRS their shares, it's not going to work. This is something where collectively we all have to do it together. Collectively, you know, once again, it's your shares, it's your money. You do as you please, right? I'm not here to convince you, but everybody has to DRS it for this to work. Or maybe 90, 60%, I don't know. You tell me.
Did any of you see that interview a couple of weeks ago? He was shorting the company, an older gentleman, long white hair, glasses. He spoke to us before on Twitter. He said he doesn't want the apes to come after us. He said that before. I don't know if you remember who he is. I forgot his name. But I saw him in an interview. He left AMC trying to short it. And then he came back in. And he said that the reason why he came back to trying to short the company was because of some underlying bullshit that he didn't really want to divulge. But he said he believes the short sellers will win in the end. I'm just like, well, what the hell does he know? He left out of fear and came back reassured. So what's going on? What could have flipped in that brief amount of time he dipped out then came back in for him to feel confident? I still think we're going to win, but it's just win.
Here's the bottom line with DRS. It's really simple. It's so simple. 860,000 investors, which is funny that it comes to that number, which is the amount of people who are signed on to Investor Connect, would all have to do about 650 shares. We don't have to DRS the whole float. We need to DRS whatever it is minus the reported short interest. But I'm telling you, the closer we get to the total amount, the shorts are going to panic. That's why you got all these mainstream media people coming out going, GME's about to freaking blast off because they're over 50% DRS. Now, if you don't know what's going on with DRS, you just don't know enough about it. I'm telling you, I'm moving almost, and not just AMC, I'm moving almost all my portfolio over to ComputerShare because it's a simpler account to use. It's cash only. I'm holding my stocks. I get more correspondence. And as soon as you call them, they pick up the phone. And I know my shares are not being shorted. If you're with the broker, your shares are being loaned and shorted. Bottom line, I guarantee it. There's no broker that is not loaning your shares out.
Hey, Spence. Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you. What's up?
Hey, I'm glad you had this call. I was asking about it. That guy who was talking about that he had some information on this DRS, it's very simple. If he can take a screenshot of what he's talking about, just produce it. So there won't have to be
Why don't you just go look? It's on their website.
He won't even show his real face on Twitter. So
I know, but I mean, you could do the 5-minute Google search and read it.
Okay.
This transmission guy.
But that's what I wanted to say was about the this ape thing, that Adam Aron came out with. And I remember Jim Chano saying that he saw an arbitrage situation here. I had to see what he was meaning. Well, let's see. If you got, let's say, AMC is at, it is $6 a share, and you have this ape is at, I'm going to make it simplified. Let's say it's at $1 a share. It's at $1 something. And this ape has voting rights. Also, it has the opportunity to be turned over into AMC shares. Wouldn't it be a bad situation if now it is voted to be changed over to AMC shares, that those who have a lot of APE shares now have AMC shares, will now have the opportunity to sell it on the market as AMC shares, further depressing the AMC price from $6 down. It seems like that would be a short seller's paradise. They get to buy pretty much what will be considered AMC shares for $1 to be able to, if everybody vote to change AMC or APE shares into AMC shares, now they have enough shares to short the AMC shares. Are you understand what I'm saying here?
Think of this, transmission guy, though. We know it's in my personal opinion, I know there are synthetic shares out in the market of AMC. They can't legally cover those until they acquire AMC shares to cover them. That's why Adam Aron wanted to sell shares into the market on a share offering. And that's why when he did it in June, the stock ran, right? The stock started running. Adam Aron started selling shares. And then we had a further push up to 72. There's no shares for the short sellers to cover if we're not selling. So they're just rehypothecating these phantom shares out into the market. This is old DD, you guys. This has been happening to Overstock since 2016. The market makers sell phantom shares to the open market, which dilutes the stock price, and then your brokers further loan those out to be shorted. So now you're short selling a naked share, which is going to devalue the stock price, causing your investors to have a mass sell-off. And then short sellers come in and clean house, and the death spiral lender comes in and gives out really bad loans to the company, and they end up getting eaten up by Amazon. But this is not a new play.
Hey, also,
but isn't the APE shares, the APE shares though, if they are voted to be converted to AMC shares, wouldn't they be considered AMC shares then?
Yes, but you're not. Okay. Your example, $1, $6. You're not going to get, if there's still a price difference when they merge it in. You're not going to get 1 for 1. It would take 6 APE to be 1 AMC. It goes by the value, not just by the stock number. You know, you can't. That won't happen that way.
Okay.
So then even if that did happen, so say this, Chanos is short AMC, but he's long APE. He's long APE because of a potential arbitrage, but he also wants those shares to get converted, so he has AMC to cover in his short position. It's not even that, it's just a hedge.
Yeah, but what if it's not to have them just to cover? What if it's to have them to short AMC?
Now we're into what ifs though. It's if they're going to short AMC, they don't need to buy shares from the market.
There are no shares out, but
they
remember,
they can just borrow them from the brokers.
Well, you said there are no shares out there, so therefore these shares have the potential. Okay, so these shares that Adam Aron put out there as 8 have the potential to become AMC shares, and if they buy these APE shares, remember when they get shares from the brokers, they have to pay borrowing fees. But now they don't have to pay anything. All they have to do is keep buying and buying APE until there is a meeting where people say, okay, now we want to convert APE into AMC. Now all of a sudden they got a bunch of AMC shares.
When you convert though, if those APE shares convert, they're going to have to go in and do a share count, and they're going to find out that APE has been sold naked out into the open market. And I'll tell you, guess what happens if they do decide to convert? Everybody who is direct registered is going to be guaranteed their conversion shares. That's what I'm saying. When I told everybody, I think we're buying APE into the dirt. I think everybody bought so much APE out in the open market when we hit like $5 and lower, because they thought it was all going to explode, that we diluted our own stock. And I hate to say it, but Lou was onto this a long time ago. He just presented it in a terrible way at the wrong time. If this is an old game, man. They sell phantom shares into the market. UBS just got charged for this, for doing exactly what I'm talking about. UBS did. They were literally they were selling securities they didn't own got trapped in a naked short scheme and got fined for it. So I'm telling you, this is the last thing
Yo, all
think it would be
jokes aside, I'm gonna tell you what's gonna need to happen real quick. It's gonna take all of us. And I know it's people in here that don't fuck with certain people, and them certain people don't fuck with you, but it's time to come to the table together and put all that petty cornball shit aside and put your beautiful brains together and hold it the fuck down. A person like me that's an infant in this game, I can't help you on a level that y'all can help each other. I just keep it a stack with you. I can't do it because I don't really know much. I'm still learning. You feel what I'm saying? Now, if we was on the football field, it'd be a way different fucking story. But we not. So, listen, you guys just need to come together. You don't get along with Lou. Lou don't fuck with you. Y'all got to come and find a common ground. Review Dork, y'all got to get in his head and talk to him. Y'all got to talk to each other. Everybody that don't fuck with each other need to start fucking with each other because this is the only way we going to win. You understand what I'm saying? We have to come together on some Voltron type shit. That's the only way we're going to get this W. We have to come together like Voltron. All these petty indifferences that y'all got with each other, it needs to be squashed. Spencer, I'm going to keep it a stack with you. I listened to Lou a lot when I came on the scene. You and Lou together will be a fucking problem. You two need to talk, okay? You two definitely need to talk. And the rest of the people that got them weird-ass issues with each other, it's bigger than y'all, homie. It's bigger than y'all. Y'all got to think about the team that y'all on. Y'all captains wearing the same jersey. You feel what I'm saying? And when you turn around after arguing with each other, guess who's staring in y'all faces? The rest of the fucking team. We waiting to be properly led to victory. And y'all got to hold it down. Y'all got to lead us to the end zone. Y'all got to lead us to the win. So that means y'all got to put all that bullshit aside and come together and hold it down for everybody that's not capable of holding it down for themselves. People like myself. You feel what I'm saying? Now, I'm smart. I ain't going to let myself get played all the way out. You feel what I'm saying? I'm in the red right now, and I'm not feeling none of this shit. You feel me? But I know when I see a leader, and I see multiple leaders in this community, but I see the multiple leaders in this community consistently beefing with each other over dumb shit that need to be squashed. Straight up. Because at the end of the day, we all here for the same thing. That's that money, baby. We're here for that. We're here for that money. We're here to take care of our family for the many generations to come. Like I said earlier, I'm mid 4 digits in this shit. I pull all my money in this shit because I want to be able to take care of kids and keep flipping this money for my children that I won't even meet 100 years from now. And I mean that literally. You know what I'm saying? I got a son right now that's 16 years old. He telling me he want to go to MIT. He got a 3.9 GPA. Me working another man's dream for 30 years will keep me broke paying for MIT and paying my own bills. If I could find a way to take care of all that shit and send my baby to MIT, or if he decide to go somewhere else, I want to do that without being in debt for the rest of my life, like we see everybody begging for this debt forgiveness shit when it comes to college. That's what I'm here for. And you can lead us all to victory if y'all just put aside that petty bullshit and come together like Voltron, like I said. Put aside the bullshit.
Voltron.
It's not a laugh. You laughing, but it's not a laughing matter. I understand why you laughing, but it's not a laughing matter. We need to come together on some Voltron shit because they want us to stay divided. They want us to consistently argue amongst ourselves because that's a part of the FUD program. It's going to cause fear, uncertainty, and all sorts of shit when y'all arguing amongst yourselves and people get confused who don't know how to properly talk. They say, you know what? Maybe it's never going to happen. Maybe I'll just sell now and get out the way. Nah, we don't want them to do that. We want them to stay right here because we know what can happen if we stick together and we do everything that we're supposed to do and keep doing the DD and keep shoving it in their face. And we do need to start hitting the block. And we do need to start requesting more interviews with these people outside of Charles Payne. We need to start doing this. Start sending these emails full of proof of what's really going on in the system to these investigative journalists because they're going to talk about it. And we need the whole world to turn its head around. I see the banners, I see the vans and all that shit. Yeah, that's cute. But when you live in a place like New York City, that's just another flyer trying to be handed to you on the block. Ain't nobody paying attention to that shit. You need to get in the right faces and hold it down for real.
Hell yeah, KB. I want to just tell you, man, I kind of remember you from maybe like last year or a year and a half ago. I think I unfollowed you. Maybe some stupid
I've been here
shit.
for a minute, dog. I've seen us run to 72.
Yeah.
From nothing. I seen it. I was here.
I'm going to follow you, man. Let's whatever shit that I have against you at some point in time, fuck that. I'm giving you a follow. I really love your fire, dude.
And I'll tell you guys, people were DMing me going, why did you let Morantz up? Me and Morantz had a beef. I personally was like, what the hell are you doing? We went at it. And then I messaged him on the side and I said, dude, I don't care what's really going on. And I've made a shout out to a couple different tubers and stuff this past week and said, look, man, you know, I supported Bigums. I supported Blunt for a while. I supported all those guys. The catalyst they said was going to happen is not really happening. We've got DRS option on the table and we haven't done it yet. That's all I'm saying. It's super easy to do. And the worst that happens, you DRS 50% of your position. We log the float and we have the right as shareholders to vote a action into the board going, hey, we've logged a float. How are shares still being traded in the open market? Adam Aron, we're telling you to do something. At least it gives us more options. That's all I'm saying. So I'm going to say, I want to get to Froggy real quick. My call is
Operation
breaking
Voltron.
up.
Operation Voltron.
Operation Voltron, yeah.
Operation Voltron. We got to come together. Operation Voltron. Straight up.
My call is breaking up super bad, so if it drops, I apologize. You guys are like coming in and out bad for me, but Froggy, man, what's up?
Yo, what's going on, man? I was going to say, I heard a comment earlier about we need like everybody to DRS the shares in order to make this happen. But from the things that I've posted too, you can see we clearly have 6 billion shares that are owed the retail. So we only need 10% of the people to actually go DRS to hit the float. Correct. So we also got to keep in mind too, foreign investors, from what I understand, can't DRS. Some might. I don't know exactly because I'm not foreign, so I don't really know their issues. But that's from what I understand. So we'll have to compensate for that, which is not a big deal. But good thing is having 11 times the float sold. And like I said, I posted it on Twitter. I've had people try to call me out, say, provide proof. Well, there it is. You know, you can't dispute it. It's fact. It's right there. And so it makes it easier for us because been basically bought by retail. We have the easier play to get there better with DRS than they do, and they already have a head start. So we have the advantage. We just have to take advantage of it and do it. And it does suck. We do have people trying to hold the community back by confusing them with DRS. And like Casey Shaw, that one right there still grinds my gears because he's over there putting words in Adam Aron's mouth. And I'm like, what is this guy doing? Like, he's not even close to the truth on what he's posting. And I sent you that tweet that he put out. And I was like, nowhere in that entire call did Adam Aron say any of those words, but Casey Shaw put it out as claiming to be fact. And I'm just like, this is insane. This is what this guy does. Like, he misinforms the entire community. And when I fact checked him, I can't even say I fact checked him. I actually just called Computershare and answered all of his questions. He denied it, saying it wasn't even true. And I'm like, you can't get much more verifiable fact than calling the company themselves to prove anything about DRS. And that's when I realized we had a problem with Casey Shaw. And then there's many of them. We could just list them all, but there's probably not time to get into it. Maybe another time we'll cover all the intentional misleaders of the community. But this is crazy. Like, we could have done this a long time ago if the YouTubers would have actually been honest and truthful with the people, or at least like, look at Tony DeNaro. He refuses to cover the truth about DRS. But if I say one thing weird, like, the sun looks like it's yellow, and he'll come out and like fact check me on it because that's what he does, but he can't tell you the truth about DRS. He's like, I'm just neutral. I'm not going to talk about it. Since when does he ever not want to do his favorite thing, which is to fact check somebody to prove a point?
The main thing, is a lot of people that are saying they're in the players, a lot of big influencers are scared of DRS because it's going to put your name and your shares on the book at AMC theaters. And some of them don't want to be seen. And I get it. There's no problem with it. Everybody came after us super hard for questioning CEO Adam Aron. And then the man comes out and says, your shares cannot be shorted if you direct register them. And then people want to argue that. That's what blows my mind. It's absolutely crazy. And I'm not even telling you to DRS your entire position, man. Me and Froggy started this back in May and said, just do 20%. Figure out how DRS works. Buy some new shares with ComputerShare to familiarize yourself with the platform. You know, it's like there's people on Robinhood that are saying, there's people with stock still holding in Robinhood telling me that direct registration is bad. That's like I don't even know how to address that, how crazy that is.
Well, good thing is we don't need all the shares to be registered, which is a good thing for us. But like originally we were told that there was 120 shares per person on average. And you could tell by what's already DRS now that it's like 660 shares per person. And we haven't even got started. So the numbers haven't really settled in. But I'm sure they're going to go up to like, I'm going to guess 1,500, maybe 2,000 per person. And
yeah.
But even if it stays at this number, you figure we still don't have very much work to do to get there. And it's just proof that the numbers that we've been told, like the Ortex data, which is self-reported, and you got people like Casey Shaw, he's like, oh, Ortex 20%, 30%. Who cares about that self-reported crap? Like, I can go and short it tomorrow and it wouldn't show up on there because none of everybody's information is actually registered in a way that Ortex can read it. And that's the point. It's self-reported. It's not accurate. The numbers are always higher than what they appear because only the honest people report their data.
Here's the wild thing. Adam Aron chose ComputerShare as the official transfer agent for AMC so we could direct register. Then he comes out and actually tells us your shares can't be shorted if you direct register. Dave Lauer on board with it. Adam Aron's on board with it. We're all on board with it. Multiple other big names are on board with it. And then they're out there fudding it, telling us it's bad and we're not going to be able to sell during MOAS. The first FUD was it takes 2 days to sell. I went out, sold shares. It gave me at the market price instantaneously, and my cash was back in my account the very next day. AMC Bull went out and did the same thing today to test it, got the same results. So that FUD's busted. Now they just had to come out with new FUD to tell you that you can't sell during a squeeze because of volatility. That is absolutely insane.
Hey, Spence.
Yo, Spence, how you doing, brother?
Hey, this is T-Dog.
Hold on a second, guys. Hold on. Roberts, I think, was going first. Let Roberts go, and then we'll go to T-Dog.
I was gonna say, I just wanted to piggyback real quick on what you just said. I just removed one of my tweets because I think I was part of that that misleading information. I really thought that it would take also about 6-7 days to settle your sale, but I'm like, dude, I'm gonna remove this tweet. I haven't even tested that. I did a purchase, so that now I'm gonna start testing that because, like you just said, now if that sale goes through like almost instantaneously, then I was part of some of that FUD info about DRS.
And it's fine, man. That's the learning curve. You're going to go to sell your share, and it's going to say sale processing or pending. So I thought at first, okay, this is going to take 2 days. Well, then the next day, 12 hours later, when my cash was back in my checking account, I said, what the hell is this? AMC paid me $2,900. It's like, that's the sale of my share. And I went and checked the sale, and I got the exact market price at the time I clicked the button to sell those shares.
And I've always said it. If there's one man that I'm trusting right now, is CEO. The man mentioned DRS, stops naked short. That is real big. I really was in shock for him, in shock to hear that man say that. You know what I mean? Because I've said it before. I can trust a lot of people, but the really one that I trust is CEO because that's where I'm at right now. And dude, I think I'm gonna keep testing this. I'm gonna do some of my shares DRS. I have a shitload of them. Why not do a nice handful? You know what I mean? I'm gonna work on that, and I'm actually gonna do some sell transactions through DRS just to see, just so I can know personally within myself how long it took, instead of just fucking guessing shit.
And you know the best thing about it is you're just giving yourself more mobility. Because if whatever other broker you're using, hey, didn't you get those price alerts for like 340 from, what was it, TD or E-Trade?
That was E-Trade, that's right.
Yeah.
Not just 240, 350. It went all the way to 650.
So your brokers are full of shit when they're putting out, they're alerting you at 4 a.m. telling you AMC's $340 and you freak out and it's at 9. Well, guess what? You're going to see the actual share price on ComputerShare the way it's programmed into the market at that time. They're not going to send you a price alert saying AMC's $340. It's just crazy what these brokers are doing to retail, man.
It was
it's
hitting.
absolutely nuts.
We were in that uptrend to like almost $30. It got halted. My fucking alerts went nuts. I'm over here going crazy trying to log into my E-Trade to look at my $650 AMC ticker, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on? That was wild.
That's when Melvin Capital blew up in March. So yeah, it's just, look, man, there's a lot of people out there that got a beef with me or don't like me, or their influencer is telling them I'm a shill or I'm wrong or whatever. Bottom line is, I'm just here. I didn't like DRS 2 years ago. I told people, nah, that looks weird, man. I don't know what it is. And then I started learning and I figured it out. And I had good people like Froggy, Swing Trade Mars, and a bunch of people educate me on it. And then I found out this is the way. GME crowd had it right the whole freaking time, man. I'm telling you, if people come in right now, we have 4.9 million shares of common stock and 4.7 million shares of preferred stock directly registered with the transfer agent ComputerShare by 15,205 people. So that's about 660 shares per person. So 660 shares out of 15,205 people on an average. If people really start direct registering, not only do we get a reconciled share count, we know exactly how many shares per person on an average are held by retail, and we know how many shareholders we have out in the open market, man. Direct registration is like going, hi, I'm here. I'm an AMC shareholder. This is how many shares I have. Give me my pass to the private party. You know who is an actual ape if they DRS, because you can prove that you're a shareholder, a legitimate shareholder.
Hey, Spence,
If you're scared of buying,
right there.
If you're scared of moving your shares, then just buy some. That's what you got to do. We're 4 million strong, and honestly, I think our squad is a little bit higher than that. But if it's 4 million of us, and we all just go and buy a couple of shares, that'd be more than enough.
If 860,000 AMC shareholders went out and bought 600 shares on ComputerShare right now, it would log the entire float, and we don't even need to do that. Like Froggy said, 10, 20%. It's going to cause a massive problem. There's a lot going on here. People get it in their head that everything is either black or white, and it's not. You don't have to log the entire float. You do not have to DRS your entire position. No, you will not get stuck trying to sell if there's some type of volatile squeeze event. And the funny thing is people pushing the FUD that you won't be able to sell because of a volatile squeeze event. We're at $5, dude. What are you worried about selling at 25,000 when we're sitting at $5? That's like trying to throw a baseball before you catch it. It's crazy.
Hey,
Spence. For the record, I just want to put that out there. I'm not one of those people that believe in like 500,000. All right. I just want to let everybody know I'm not one of those people. I believe, I won't say the numbers I think we can reach, but it's not really 6 digits.
Let's get back to 71 first. How about that?
Absolutely.
Baby steps. T-Dog, go ahead.
Hey, a couple things, Spence. When you do that math where you come out to 665 average shares, right, on what's already been DRS, times that times 4 million. Yeah. That's almost 3 billion shares. So I mean,
and this is all the poll data.
Yeah, AA says some things I think are an accident sometimes to point out the synthetics. I don't think he did that on purpose. I think those are real numbers. And I started doing the DRS process. I think people get confused because when you make your first order, I just put in $100 to buy AMC shares. It does take almost a week to get your first order through. So I think people get confused on that. I mean, I'm in the process. I posted it. I think the 14th it settles, and 17th I'm able to trade on it. So that's the way, like you said, I recommend doing it. Just buy some shares, whatever. and there'll only be like a couple of shares. This will be a lot, and then you can start transferring them over. And also, don't get frustrated on the number because, like, for example, my company sponsor, I said it yesterday, I think, my company sponsored 401k will not allow you to DRS through Charles Schwab. You can't do it. And those are not a pension. That's a trust. That's how it's set up. So there would be some serious fuckery going on if they're lending those shares out beyond what we know that's going on. So I don't even think those are getting lended out. So, if we get close to the AMC 50%, and I believe AMC would have got clobbered more if they weren't DRSing, that's where I kind of was like you. It's kind of against it. I'm like, this is kind of weird. Won't really help. Well, their stock is held. I mean, times that 20 whatever by 4, and I have 1,000 shares of GME. I've had forever. And, it's still holding really high. It hasn't gotten killed as much. It doesn't drop as much as we do. And it bounces back just as fast. So, it's funny, like you talk about the FUD that you can't sell. Excuse me, if it is volatile and these brokers want out of it, they're not going to block you from selling. They're going to block you from buying, right? They didn't take the sell button away. I mean, I'm sorry. Yeah, they didn't take the sell button away the last squeeze. They took the buy buttons away. So it's a dumb narrative. And it's like, why not? There's no negative to it, the ones you can do. Worst case scenario is you might get charged a fee from your broker, and then you got to make that decision. And, that kind of ended up is you blocked me at one time, Spence. So, I mean, we all block each other because I think we all get heated and say things sometimes and say things maybe we don't agree with. And as long as it's not a personal attack, and I didn't personally attack you. I think I attacked one of your things you did years ago, like one of your ideas. There's no personal attacks, but sometimes all of us, I get mad at people too. We just need to more, just have more of a that's what I'm thinking of, more civilized conversations of if we disagree, so to find out the happy medium. Because a lot of people throw some really good ideas out. It's great to kind of pick them apart and see what's good, what's bad, and because no one else is doing it for us. Or the CEO's not going to do that. That's not his job. Obviously, he's not doing it. We just got to do it together. So I love these calls. I kind of was really upset yesterday after the earnings call. And today I'm thinking of it differently. It kind of just solidified in my mind who all the players are, what their motives are, including the CEO, what he's going to do, what he's not going to do, and what we need to do on our own now, and what we need to do to make it go forward. So this is kind of my 2 cents.
And I totally agree, T-Dog. And I'm telling you, I've been unblocking people all day. And the problem is, in the early days of the community, it was hard to tell who was who and who was a fake account and who was a real account because you got a million accounts out there with 8 profile pictures. And, like the Fed guy who just came up and tried to tell us, DRS bad. His profile picture is a picture of a fucking donut. Nobody knows who he is. Why would I sit there and listen to something I know is false from a fake account, man? So I've been unblocking people left and right. I cleared the beef with Morantz, just like KB said. Everybody's got to come together. But these big influencer YouTubers, man, they got to come out and they got to go, the catalyst we thought we're going to hit didn't hit. No problem. We got this new thing on the table. I'm not really a DRS fan, but I'm going to start engaging in conversation on it. And we all got to aim at the same target, whether it's right or wrong in the end, which I think it's going to be right. If the community is all aiming at the same target, we're going to do way more damage than everybody just shooting at one different tank at a time. We want to concentrate all our firepower. And I'll tell you this, you got Adam Aron talking about it, Dave Lauer talking about it. I'm always talking about it. The entire GME community is talking about it. How many more reputable people do we need to put on the list? And if you guys have ever heard Pete from Philly, Pedro de Philly talk, he knows this shit, man. This dude's been around for a minute, and he has been schooling us up on a lot of things that have been happening deep in the market since Overstock.
Yeah, and you talk about GME. I started going back to their Reddit pages and back to following them on Twitter. That community is a lot more mature and more about the movement, or what you would call it, getting GME short stuck than the 8 movement. And the DRS thing is, in the bottom line, you always follow the money. If people are DRSing, nobody benefits from DRSing except maybe a broker fee. No ape or YouTuber or whatever benefits from somebody DRSing. There's no backdoor like, hey, sign up Webull, use my code crap. Matt
Here's your
Moo
5 free stocks. You know why those brokers sell those free stocks?
Yeah, because they sucker you in, they get you in, get all your money. Those
Yeah,
free
and
stocks
then
cost nothing.
they get you in, they give you those free stocks that cost them nothing, and then they engage in payment for order flow the rest of your life.
Yep, exactly. So the DRS thing, that I don't see any, even if it doesn't, I mean, I'll be devil's advocate. Let's say DRS thing doesn't really help. Nothing really happens. There's no negative to it. You're just in computer share. It's just another broker. What's the difference?
If I could come up for a minute on that.
Go ahead, Pedro.
Well, that's exactly right. So after the call and whatnot, I posted, just, can someone please explain to me the downside or how DRSing will hurt the movement? And this is a movement to basically expose and clean up a corrupt institution or market, right? And I posed a question. I said, just, can someone please explain to me how DRSing a percentage of your shares, how is that hurtful or counterproductive to the effort of exposing the corruption and naked shorting in this market? And the responses I got, nobody could answer the fucking question. It was remarkable. It was, no, I understand. It might take a little longer to sell. I don't care. Tell me how it's going to hurt. And it's amazing. I was amazed by, the number of people that came back at me, which told me, wait a minute, there's absolutely no reason why you should be arguing against DRSing. It's the analogy I gave. It's like a doctor telling you, hey, listen, exercise more and start eating right and getting more sleep. Well, it may not keep you from getting cancer, but it's not going to hurt, right? Basically, the notion that anybody's trying to convince me, and that clown that came up on this call, trying to say that somehow it's a negative. The implication there is that everyone's going to DRS all their shares. Not necessary. You could do 10, 15%. You can do trial runs. Look what not DRSing has got us. We're in the fucking gutter. So the whole notion, and I'm frankly, like, a lot of me said to myself, I'm like, man, I actually think there's more turncoats in the community than I thought, to be honest with you, because there's no rational argument that anybody can give that why DRSing is a negative or counterproductive to the movement. You might argue that, well, it takes a little longer to sell, it's not as interactive, all this other nonsense. That's all personal choice, okay? It cannot hurt, and it can only help. And I would tell you that one share being pulled out on a DRS basis is not pulling out one share. I'm going to say it's probably pulling out 4 to 10 shares, because the rehypothecation is much greater than you think. Go read the Rolling Stone article about overstock. Or Goldman Sachs was lending out one share 10 times, 20 times, 100 times, right? And charging a VIG on all those shares, and that's why it's so profitable. So the whole notion of anybody being against DRS, like, just get out of my face, because unless you're going to argue that it's not for you, and that's a fine argument. Like, I'm not going to tell anyone to do with their money. And if you want to tell me I'm not comfortable DRSing because of X, Y, and Z for my own personal purposes, fine. But don't try to argue to me or try to convince me that somehow DRSing is negative. And the whole notion, I mean, like, golly, I mean, that it's gonna take away shorts or whatever that stupid fucking argument was. I'm like, holy shit, that's the best you guys can come up with? It's
if
fucking
we DRS, there's no short interest, meaning no squeeze. Which
I mean, the whole thing is that's literally laughable. I mean,
that was worded and created to mislead people who don't understand the market.
Of course. So so that's that on DRS. As it relates to, I made a couple of notes as we were going along. Number one, on conference calls, it was absolutely a predetermined question. I've personally been asked by CEOs of microcaps to ask a very specific question because it's a legal thing. So when a company is putting together their transcript and their prepared remarks on a quarter, the lawyers scrub it. They have to be very careful about forward-looking. Blah, blah, blah. When it's a question, there's a lot more latitude that a CEO is given. So I've been asked numerous times For instance, on my favorite stock, if anybody knows me, what my favorite long-term stock is, I've been asked on that to, hey, ask a question about this. So that was absolutely a setup question. So Spence is totally right on that. Anybody who knows me, I will tell you that it's a bigger thing than anybody can imagine. And it spans a lot more companies than anybody can imagine. So they are fighting for their lives, and they will stop at nothing to end this, because it is a existential threat to their entire existence. So they'll infiltrate, they'll get the media on board, they'll do everything else. So always keep that in mind in terms of, this is much bigger than just one stock. If they were able to truncate this loss and move along, trust me, they would have. They can't. There's two ways out for a bankruptcy bet. When they put on a short bet on a company they think is going bankrupt, there's two ways out. Number one, bankruptcy, or two, the company sells a massive amount of shares to them. And this has been the model, and I always talk about the Patrick Byrne article that I always post. And by the way, I am in the penalty box again for a couple of days. If I'm not responding to people, that's why. But the whole this whole thing, they need shares or they need bankruptcy. That's it. Okay. And so they are cornering Ape. Everyone's seeing in real motion, slow motion, what I've watched for 14 years in all this stuff. And I'm frustrated with the CEO here. As I said earlier on this call, number one, he got walked into an interview on Fox News, and yeah, I think the fact that he cashed out way back is total bullshit, but he did. It's the lack of fight, okay, the lack of preparedness, and the lack of in touch with social media. It's whether it's being responsive to the stronger, well-known people in this movement, whether it's Tara or Spence, and communicating and working with them and getting a pulse of what the community cares about. I get the sense he's become completely out of touch on that side of things. So I said during the call, I said what Adam needs to do, he needs to now come out and say, look, I want to get permission or approval for being able to sell AMC, not just Ape. He let himself get cornered, which in my opinion is inexcusable. I could see this coming, that they're going to use their dirty tricks and all their other crap to corner. They're in the process of cornering Ape, and to make it to the point where even if he sells as much as he's authorized to sell, it won't be enough to help them out of what they need to get done. And so he needs to act and react. And if he's getting cornered, then come out and say, you know what, I need multiple avenues for raising money. Because what will happen is if he comes out and says, if you guys give me approval to sell 100 million AMC, we're still not going to raise an aggregate of more than X, but we have the facilities to raise in two different places. Ape will go straight back to parity immediately, because the shorts are going to go, oh, fuck, we thought we had him cornered, and now he can go raise over here in AMC, right? So that needs to happen. He needs to get uncornered, okay? But DRSing is absolutely 100%. It has a lot of the same properties and qualities of an STO. People just don't even see it. It's basically, it's the properties of an STO is your shares are your shares via the blockchain, and they cannot be counterfeited. They are yours. Well, this is basically acting in the same way, which is these are your shares. They are registered to you, and it pulls them out of the pool. And now the shorts are dealing with a smaller pool, and it's simple math. They're dealing with a smaller pool of shares to fuck with. And it's much more sensitive than people think. People say, oh, we have to DRS 50%. No, you don't. 10%. Whoever it was earlier who came up and said 10%, yeah, 10, 15% would absolutely move the needle.
And so there, the important thing about what you just said is anything that we pull out of the DTCC and your brokerages to DRS, which will force your brokers to recall shares they've lent to short sellers, you are putting a liquidity crunch on shorts and market makers, because now they have to go out and sell new synthetics and go rehypothecate other shares that they've had to pay more money for, increasing the balance on their books. It's all about creating a massive liquidity crunch for the shorts and exposing the synthetics in the market, and DRS can do that.
That's right. What people don't understand is that, I've been around a long time. I'm old. And back in 1998, I had already been in the business a decade. Revco went belly up. And that was basically they were caught naked short, all sorts of stuff. And I've posted the article. I've posted the article in the past about how I can't now because I'm in the penalty box, but about how what the SEC and the DTC and all the brokers do. Because what people, you have to remember, it's the brokers that are on the line. Think Archegos, okay? When Archegos walked away, okay, and they were hiding this massive leverage, who picked up, who had a basket of stock laid in their lap? Well, it was all the broker dealers, right? And that was on the long side in Paramount and about 4 or 5 other stocks. Okay, they were the counterparty on the contracts for differences and the swaps that Wong was putting on. Okay, they were on the other side. Then all of a sudden, they're like, "Oh shit, we're holding the bag here." Well, it's the same thing on the other side. Revco, they ended up burying like 400 million naked shares. They just permanently diluted companies because the broker dealers are the next in line. So always remember that if one of these firms on the other side blows up, these broker dealers are the ones who are on the hook. So they're going to fight DRSing. They're going to get in the way. They're going to slow it down. I won't be surprised if we can get going, that you're going to hear about broker dealers blocking it, right? And slowing it down and doing all this stuff because it's their backsides on the line if this blows up on them. Okay, it's primarily more on the swap side of things, but it's also on the online broker side of things because of the IOUs, right? That they're just selling you a digital entry in your account. It's not an actual share. DRSing makes it an actual share. But just keep that in mind that the broker dealers are the ones on the other side. And then the other thing I'll say is all the indexes funds, all the mutual funds, all the broker dealers, everybody has their hand in the cookie jar, the stock lending cookie jar. Patrick Byrne said it appropriately that, Goldman Sachs is basically a prime broker with an investment bank attached to it. That's how profitable the stock lending and their prime brokerage is for these firms because it's 100% margin business and they can lend out the same share over and over and over again and charge a VIG. And then you go listen to Mark Cohodes, what happened to him, where he was paying a VIG and then the rug got pulled and all that stuff. So it's these broker dealers and the mutual funds, the index funds, nobody wants anything to change. That's why you haven't heard any advocates. You would think by now we would have gotten some big advocate, whether it's the owners of Fidelity or whether it's the Capital Research head of that firm. You haven't heard peep from anybody, not Vanguard, not Fidelity, not Capital Research, nobody. You know why? They all have their hand in the cookie jar, every single one of them. They all take retail money, buy shares, and then lend those shares and make money on the back end. So this whole thing is your own brokers are against you. They do not want this to happen. And DRSing takes the shares out of their control.
Hey, Pedro, I have a question on the DRS. So the shares I'm getting ready to DRS, they're almost 2 years old, and they were back when cost to borrow was a lot less than it is today. So if I DRS those shares, and they have to rehypothesize them, I just butchered that word, but if they have to redo those short positions that they're on those, is it going to be like at the higher interest rate and even screw them more on the cost to borrow?
It could certainly be. I'm really curious because there's been a dramatic move on the cost to borrow in AMC in the last couple of days.
Yep.
And you're trying to figure out why. In my experience over the years, a lot of times what'll also happen during volatile, difficult times, like in 2020 during COVID, you have a lot of shares that whether it's retail holding on and never selling and they just hold on, or big institutions holding on, and then all of a sudden something like COVID comes along and it rattles all, it shakes all the trees and apples fall out. What happens is those shares have been lent and for maybe a year, 2 years prior, and the short has their borrow, everything's fine. But what happens is if somebody who's an institution that's long 500,000 shares of a stock and they're lent, well, if that institution says, hey, you know what, the world's, we're having a crisis here, I'm out. Now, all of a sudden, those shares get sold. Well, now the backside gets in flux because that side's losing their borrow. So the brokers, they start scrambling. That's why so often you'll see a cataclysmic stock event and then it whipsaws and turns into a big squeeze in a lot of stuff, is because you have behind the curtain, the shares have moved and been sold into the market. Now whoever was short is coming in saying, oh shit, I don't have my borrow anymore. I have to go try to find a new locate somewhere else. It's more expensive. It's harder to get. And then all of a sudden you can get a turn in things. So yeah, I think there's absolutely no way that DRSing does not shrink the available shares to short, period. Institutional business trading buy side, sell side for 30 years. It is absolutely 100% impossible that if a share of DRS, a share that gets DRS, 100% pulls that share out of the mix. That's all you need to know. And so I think what should be focused on here is, look, don't go for the big kahuna, just 10% of your portfolio. You don't have to do it all. So you still have control. People are like, oh, what happens if it goes to this? And okay, fine. You have 75% of your shares are still in your account. You're fine. You could push the button and be out. But 25%, you're basically pulling those over. And the funny thing is, they'll probably make you money by having them there because it takes longer. Everyone makes the assumption that, well, the stock's going to just go down because of the delay. Well, let me ask you a question. When shit was going fucking bonkers, I could find a couple of times where if it took a day or two, that was like 40, 50% more. So the assumption that these bears and the people that want to tell you that it's not going to work, they'll try to make this idea in your head that that you're going to miss something. Well, it also does work the other way. And if the dam's bursting, it could be a good thing.
So, I disagree with you there because I always time the market perfectly.
Bro, hey, you wanna I'm gonna send you some money. You trade for me, man.
Hey, Spence, I have a quick question for you because I haven't tried it yet. Some of the FUD I heard is you can't DRS Ape. Is that true or false?
No, you can direct register Ape. You cannot buy Ape on ComputerShare because Adam Aron did not want any Ape being sold into the open market at the market. The only way you can buy Ape and know it's a legal share is through the City Global offering, where Adam Aron has to approve it. And that's why I'm saying everybody that's out buying Ape in the open market right now on brokerages, if it's all bought up and the dividend was issued and it's all supposed to be locked up and nobody's selling, then what are you buying? That's why our stock price is collapsing, because we are literally buying ourselves into dilution with synthetic shares and what I call market dilution. There's outstanding share dilution, which is when a company sells shares into the market legally. And then there's market dilution, which is where these market makers are selling phantom shares to your brokers and then rehypothecating them out to short sellers. So that's right. You can DRS Ape, you just cannot buy Ape on ComputerShare, which is actually a very good thing.
I know I'm a broken record, but I would encourage, and people have heard me say it before, but I'll say it to anybody who's new, who hasn't listened or haven't, whatever, go read the article, Saint Small Cap, on Patrick Byrne's website. It talks about these printing machines and what the game is for these hedge funds and market makers that are given these special privileges to dilute companies into oblivion. It's the best analogy. It's a 5-minute read, and it puts it's such a clear analogy that I think the light bulb will go off for a lot of people. If you're having trouble understanding counterfeiting of shares and naked shorting and understanding of like, how does it work and how does it all, whatever, I implore you to go read the article, and a light bulb will go off and be like, oh, that's what they're doing here. And that's to Spence's point, that there's dilution from companies. Right. So, and they use the first one, right, to drive a stock down. Now everybody can also see the 4 tenets that I always talk about of manipulation, which is payment for order flow, lack of an uptick rule, short transparency, and market maker exemption. 3 of those 4 are Bernie Madoff, thank you. But those are the key elements. And what they do is they use what Spence is referring to as like market making dilution, where they are illegally, well, it's technically legal for market makers, but they are diluting via naked shorting the float of a company versus the company diluting shares. Well, what they do is they drive the share price down to a price where it makes the dilution or the capital raise that much more dilutive. So that's what they're doing in APE, and we're seeing it in real time, in slow motion, every day. All the tricks and everything else. The bullish thing, and no matter what happens, the bullish thing is the toothpaste is out of the tube, and millions of people have gotten educated about this and now see what the fuck's going on. I've watched it for 15 years, more than that, in slow motion, and these companies would just die in silence because the CEO goes, I don't know what's going on, and then shareholders get pissed, and everyone's complaining, and they hide it, right? There's only 3% reported short interest. It can't be shorts. What's going on? Well, it's all works together. And that's why you'll see Virtu and these guys fight payment for order flow. They'll fight short transparency. They'll fight the market maker exemption. They'll fight the uptick rule, because it's all part of the ability to do this. They shouldn't have the ability to do this. But what we're seeing, and Spence is right, that if you don't do something at the core, they'll just keep diluting the piss out of this thing and suppressing the price, which will eventually, like a boa constrictor, it'll just squeeze the air out of the life out of the company, where they end up having to sell hundreds of millions of shares at a horrific price. And now the stock, because there's so many shares outstanding now, the goose is too fat to fly.
And then Apollo and Mudrick come in, and Death Spiral lends you into oblivion.
There you go. That's the second stage of what they do. That's what's going on, right? That's what's going on, and that's why, like, I implore Adam Aron. That's where I get so fucking pissed off. People get pissed off at different things, and I think Tara kind of misunderstood kind of what I was saying. I was going at him for not being prepared and not fighting, not having that level of fuck you. We're throwing down. I know you're bigger than me, and I know you're going to beat the shit out of me, but I'm still going to fucking fight.
Exactly. Square up.
That's the part that pisses me off, because the guy fucking ran Vail Resorts. He ran the Sixers. He's not a dumb guy. He has to know that if he's going on Fox, well, either he's completely obtuse and completely out of the loop on a social media standpoint to know who is attacking his company on a regular basis. And I do expect my CEO to take the temperature of the world. He's not naive. Hey, he can find a few of his assistants to, like, hey, you figure out kind of what the 4 hot topics are in the APE community. It would take 6 fucking seconds, right? He should know that. I expect him to know that. And I expect him that if he's going to go into the lion's den, to go in there with a fucking gun loaded. And when Liz Clayman sticks her fucking head up and tries to walk him into a trap, which is rehashing over and over and over again. And by the way, anyone notice Charlie Gasbag's talking points? You can see there's a reason why I do what I do with him. And there's a very specific reason. But you can see his talking points, right? Insider sale. I talk to insiders, and so they drive home. These bullet points are given to him. He's not smart enough to come up with this shit. Okay, Liz Clayman is given the same fucking bullet points. So, which is insider sales. They ripped you off. It's all a mental psych op to fuck you in your head to say, well, oh, look, they ripped me off, and to turn everybody on there. I expect the CEO to have a set of balls and fight back and be prepared to fight back. He had an opportunity there to literally drop Liz Clayman with a knockout fucking punch, and he didn't. He tried to talk the movie business and whatever. So that's where I get pissed off and angry, because then I start going, wait a minute, dude, do you really care? And that's my beef, with him, is a lack of fight. But Spence, I'll finish up with this. Spence is right about the naked shorting is dilution, but that's designed ahead of expected dilution from the company, or to require dilution from the company. But
I think your avatar that you have, Pedro, is pretty much who we are for that particular movie.
Yep.
Drago can bleed. Drago can bleed. Drago can be defeated. We're Rocky right now. We can beat Drago. There's no doubt in my mind.
So one of the most important things that we haven't really talked about as much is when Adam Aron in the last annual came out and said, hey, we've got a problem with shareholder voting. If you don't get your proxy, you need to tell us. Well, guess what? I was one of the investors with Fidelity who did not get a proxy from Fidelity.
That's
so you know how many shares I
share.
didn't get to vote on? A shit ton.
That's because you didn't. That's because you weren't a legal shareholder.
Yep. You know the only place I got my proxy for? ComputerShare.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
right.
all the shares I had in Fidelity, because I was only 20% at the time, I couldn't vote on. And I threw a fit and I tried to call the proxy material agent, which is like DK King or something like that. They didn't give two shits, man. They didn't even know what I was talking about. So I had to write John Merriweather and say, Fidelity will not give me my proxy material. You know why they didn't do it? Because they lent my fucking shares out to be shorted and they didn't have control of my proxy vote.
Correct. And then what's amazing is I can go on a diatribe about the SEC, but like one simple thing the SEC could do, they could require every U.S. based brokerage firm under their purview, just say, you know what, once a month, you need to file every position, every company, the amount of shares held at. So E-Trade, every single share that you hold in every single listed name, you have to file. So if E-Trade holds 22 million shares of Apple, they 22 million of every stock in their arsenal. The SEC, without breaking any laws, without doing anything else, could just mandate that all the brokerage firms in the country that are under their purview must file ownership. We would immediately get a true share count, just at least of the U.S. of just you might see some startling shit, but the SEC doesn't even do that minimal, basic fucking thing. Like, Jesus, I mean, I'm just a dumb Polish guy, and I could think of that, right? What? I mean, come on, like you tell me Gary Gensler can't say, well, here's a novel idea. People are complaining about, over ownership and all this other stuff. Let's do this. Let's make every broker dealer file their aggregate amount of all the shares they hold. We would know how many shares are owned by, not from the DTC and not from the companies, because the companies, they go on their issue. They have no idea that Spence has fake IOUs, doesn't receive a proxy. Those are outside of all of this. So, there's such basic, simple shit the SEC could do to clean this mess up. They choose not to. That's they can't be this dumb. It's by design.
Pedro, I got a question for you. I heard this thesis. So, like you said earlier, there's so many companies that are heavily shorted, like over 20%. Some of them are even profitable, which is crazy. And then why do you keep thinking the shorts keep doubling down? I think they have no way out, and I'm talking about a market wide. I mean, do you think it's possible that they're hoping there's some kind of event that lets them out? But if liquidity finally does completely dry up and there's margin called and shit hits the fan,
building your business online,
way deep, they can do it too big.
Go to Wix.com.
Yeah, absolutely. I've said before, well, you know, if you've heard me on other calls, I have a very specific thesis of what I think Citadel's business model is, which is very actuarial, like life insurance, how they look at
and get your site
small caps and micro caps.
With a tailored creation experience.
I can do that another time.
Add what you need for your business.
Absolutely,
and pick a design that matches your style.
And they've been doing it for so long. They are literally sitting on, in my opinion,
down
thousands
to the very last detail
of potential GameStops and AMCs.
Turn it up.
This is why they're fighting
animations and videos
so hard.
To grab
people don't understand.
attention.
This is much bigger.
And whatever your next move is,
much bigger. I know for a fact, like a company that I've followed for years,
with an online store.
IZEA.
Take bookings.
Right? It's got a $40 million market
online
cap.
community.
They've got $67 million in cash. It's got $1.08
wherever
in
they
cash.
are. And use your personalized analytics dashboard to shape your business's growth smarter. If you need anything, we're here for you every step of the way, 24/7.
It also traded right with
Gabe. Go to Wix.com and build your business online today.
That's just one little name that has the entire float short. Now multiply that times thousands, right? And so I've used the analogy about the Valdez. The Exxon Valdez spilled $500 million worth of oil. Have trillions, okay? It's systemic.
Did
Why do you
know
think
that
they pulled the buy
half of
button?
the market is
right?
traded
The SEC
behind closed
fucking knew
doors
what
in
was going
private
on. If you think
off-market
the
exchanges called dark
SEC
pools?
didn't know what was
This
going
is where
on,
big institutions,
I've said
hedge
before,
funds,
take another
and
hit
top
on your
traders
crack pipe.
execute 90%
They knew
of their
exactly what was
trades.
going on, but they were
How can you
presented
expect
with a
to win in the
choice.
market when you
Either
can't
the
see
system
all
fucking
these
melts,
trades? Trade Algo
and now
has the
all of a
most
sudden they have to
comprehensive
answer to
real-time
Congress
dark
and
pool
the
monitor
American people
available to the
of
retail
why
trader. Our
we had this
proprietary
massive
advanced
crash in
algorithms
indexes and
identify
why all of a
stocks
sudden
that are
shit
set
and why
to
the biggest
surge
market maker
based
went
on
bankrupt.
abnormally high volume
Or
in these
they
off-market
looked the
exchanges.
other way while retail
Join our
got
daily
raped,
live
and they
trading
pulled the buy
session,
button.
and you'll get a chance
We
to
know
see
the
the market
decision
the
they
way the
made.
big institutions,
Right?
the hedge funds, and the top
you'll
traders
see
get to
what
see.
their new tactic
Register
is.
now. It's free.
The halts, right? We all see it. Their new buy button pull is our halt, because they can't pull the buy button again because there's too many fucking eyeballs now, and the things would like burn down if they tried it again. So now the way they're going to control, we know the decision they made through, right? Halt, where they can then readjust and get its positioned and then attack and then see it. Whatever. It's positive that we've gone from being able to pull the buy button to halt, because if the dam does break, because there's too many halt will actually be counterproductive, because it'll just build up, things would build up, just like you saw in the crypto. Just now the way they're going to, where it's good, it'll all blow loose. But yes, it's absolutely systemic. It's absolutely across thousands of companies, and then they've used microcaps and small caps as their alpha generators to beat the market and raise more money. They sell without the intention of ever covering. I am 100% convinced that it's a business model where that they just take the money out. Then it's a question of just controlling and managing these stocks, because on an actuarial basis, if you take 1,000 small caps and micro caps generators, a life insurance model, basically, 850 are going to fail, 50 will lag along, 50 will do okay with the market, and 50 will be big winners. So from an actuarial standpoint, if we make it short, and the one constant amongst all small caps and micro caps is they all need money all the time, particularly biotech. These fucking scumbags will life insurance model, they kill 850 are going to fail. And I'm not embellishing, because they literally starve out companies that are working on life-saving therapies or drugs. They literally starve them out of money. So because they can't, because the markets offer no protections for these people and for these companies, and they literally do it across thousands of companies. But the two major sectors that they do it are biotech, and most people don't understand this, it's junior gold miners. Because junior gold miners are actually very similar to biotechs. Capital intensive, costs a lot of money. They're always and long process to go get the product out of the ground if it's miners. So it's across the whole spectrum. And I try to tell everybody I talk to that this is much, much bigger than GameStop and AMC. It's literally The reason why they're getting videos from the SEC mocking meme investors, why they're trying to marginalize us and tell us that we're this, it's because we present an existential threat to the entire fucking system. And I'm not embellishing a little bit.
Hey, I have one more question. I have one more question for you to step down. So the thing that really confuses me in this whole thing is if you look back 2008, you look back 9/11, probably is another time that things were dropping, the .com. I know there's been times they suspended short selling in the betterment of the market. When they decided to shut down the entire world economy, why didn't they suspend short selling?
Well, they did. Well, what's amazing about that is, and most people don't understand this, and not to repeat myself, but for people that haven't heard me, there's four tenets of the manipulation that allows this market to be this fucking cesspool that it is, which is number one, payment for order flow. I could go in depth and talk about payment for order flow for an hour for you guys if you want. Number two is the market maker exemption, okay, which basically is legalized naked shorting. People think naked shorting is illegal. It is not illegal for market makers. That's why after it was put in place, which is also known as the Madoff exemption, after it was put in place, every trading shop in the country rushed to become a quote-unquote market maker because they knew that it opened Pandora's box for naked shorting because they don't have to get a borrow, nor do they need to report their short. And don't believe me, listen to FINRA. I can post an article about how FINRA is telling us that synthetics, okay, and prop desks are not reflected in short data. All short data is fake. Anybody who's paying for Ortex, I'm not going to tell you. I think you're better off going and buying a case of beer and relaxing once a month than paying for that garbage because it's worthless. It's your rock. You can get the same number that Ortex is giving you. They put some lipstick on the shit to make it look fancier, but you can get the same shit from NASDAQ.com or from Yahoo, right? They're all getting it from the same place, but it's not accurate. Okay, FINRA told us. I can show you the article. They wanted public input of what they wanted to put in reported numbers, and they flat out tell you synthetics are not included. That's swaps. Okay, and I could send you another article about equity swaps in disguise about how after 2008, synthetic brokerage prime brokerage became the big thing with hedge funds because it allowed hedge funds to keep the short at the broker-dealer level on the broker-dealer's balance sheet, and it also keeps it hidden because they don't have to report or file. So what these fuckers will do, and I see it all the time, they'll actually buy stock in a microcap, small cap. Meanwhile, they're short 10x hidden, but they buy it so that the management team's like, oh my God, look at that, Stevie Cohen's long my stock. No, he's not. No, he's not. He just wants you to pick up the phone when he calls so that he can take your temperature. Okay, so so you have payment for order flow, you have the market maker exemption, you have the lack of the uptick rule, and you have short transparency. Okay, so Bernie Madoff was the one who got the uptick rule removed in July of 2007. We all know what happened in 08 and 09. And to answer your question in a roundabout way, guess what happened a year, 18 months after Bernie Madoff had the uptick removed? It was in place after the 1929 crash because Rockefellers and whatever were all bear rating and naked short selling stocks in 1928 and 29. So they put the uptick rule in place to stop that shit. It worked for 100 fucking years, okay? I worked at a hedge fund for 5 years when the uptick rule was in place. We got by. We were able to get our shorts on. Didn't need to do it. It opened up the Pandora's box of manipulation, okay? We all saw what happened. And then, if you remember, in the middle of the crisis in 08 or 09, what it was, the SEC did, in fact, put the uptick rule back in place on financials. And they all went up 3x. And everybody, I remember I was on a trading desk at the time. I was like, finally, some sanity. And then the SEC comes out and says, we're gonna undo that next week. And guess what happened? I could pull up all the charts for it if you want. Literally, you're like, what the fuck are you doing? It's working. You're stabilizing these companies, right? No, they pulled it. And that's because the bigger powers told them to fucking pull that. Lehman Brothers would still be in business. Bear Stearns would still be in business. And the financial crash of 08 and 09 would have been half as bad if there was an uptick rule. I can go through all sorts of other garbage. But so Bernie Madoff was in charge of that.
Bernie Madoff was in charge of the market maker exemption, which literally inside the SEC, it's known as the Madoff exemption, because he worked so hard when he was head of NASDAQ to get the same rights and privileges that options market makers had, which actually made sense at the time, and to give them to equity market makers, which was not necessary. And so he was responsible for that. And he was the first one on payment, not the first one, but he was early on payment for order flow. I remember his sons came into our shop and tried to convince us to route our institutional orders over to them to slice and dice all day. And, guarantee of the VWAP, blah, blah, blah. So he had his hands on payment for order flow, market maker exemption, and the uptick rule. And then the other one is short transparency. I say the same thing all the fucking time. But just flip it on its head. If Elon Musk had decided to short Twitter, you know what filing requirements he would have had if he shorted 10% of the company with the SEC? 0. None. But if he buys 5%, he has to file by name. So our SEC actually literally runs fucking air cover for people that want to shoot against our companies. It's insane. Like, if you're an investor, no, you need to lift your skirt and we need to see your junk. But if you're a short seller, you're allowed to stay hidden. Anonymity, if there was short filing requirements for where people had, Gabe Plotkin would still be in business. GameStop never would have happened. AMC never would have happened, because no hedge fund in their right mind would ever get out over their skis like they did if people could see it, right? If a company could see, wait a minute, you're short 50% of my float? Fuck you, I'm not talking to you. Or the rest of the street sees, oh my God, look at this guy. And I don't know if people are around for what Carl Icahn did to Ackman in Herbalife. When Ackman was all big and like, Herbalife's a fraud, whatever. Ackman said, you know what, hold my beer. And he shoved it up Ackman's ass to the tune of like $2 billion. So all these things together, you paint this mosaic, and then the payment for order flow, it's basically, the analogy I give people is, it's basically having a drone behind your enemy's lines, and the generals of the enemy, you have their phones tapped. So you can see when they're coming, how many are coming, at what time. So sorry for rambling, but it's good, man. It's amazing when you put these together. And that's why you're going to see the folks like Dougie Sifu from Virtu and these guys, all the guys who argued that that payment for order flow should be illegal way back in the day. It's because they didn't have the order flow, right? Yep. Sifu argued against order flow. Citadel said it should be illegal when they didn't have the order flow. Well, now they have it. And now now they will fight to the death, because that's the golden goose. And what happened was, they never could have modeled 4 million people ganging up on one stock. That's what broke the model.
Guess what happens when you buy your shares through ComputerShare? 0 payment for order flow directly to the lit exchange, then pulled from the DTCC. The whole point of ComputerShare, I'm telling you guys, it's to get away from all this market maker fraud that we've been trying to fight and cancel for over 2 years. You can do it by using ComputerShare. The point is that if everybody goes in after Adam Aron came out and said it himself, and we have a big blitz, all as individual investors, to go figure out ComputerShare and transfer and buy new shares from them, we're going to cause a massive liquidity crunch on these brokers, and then said the market makers, in the form of loss of payment for order flow money, forced share recalls from the brokers to the short sellers, and the end of, like what Pete said, a potential rehypothecation cancellation of up to 10 shares. And he said it perfect. Cost to borrow just went through the roof on AMC in the past 3 days. Guess what people have been doing? DRS in their shares, man. So not only now are we DRSing shares and cancel rehypothecation, you're forcing those shorts to go out and short new shares at a higher interest rate. It's just, it's unbelievable, but I feel bad. I was going to try to get to Froggy. He had his hand up, so I want to apologize to him for not getting to him, but I want to
and I hate to do this, it's so good, but I got to start wrapping this up. So, Pete, if you got anything you want to close with.
No, I would just say, well, number one, I'm still in the penalty box, so if I don't respond to you, that's why. I would say pay attention to the whole mosaic in terms of all the stuff, and don't think myopically that this is about one company. What we're fighting for is obviously one company, but we're fighting for a level playing field. And I assure all of you, if you've learned trading and everyone's learned lessons and everything else, and so have I, we are fighting for a level playing field. And I assure you that if we can achieve this, making money and trading will be a lot like you'll be like, wow, this is fair. Like this is crazy. This whatever. So you're fighting for something much bigger than one stock. And I assure you, they are sitting on thousands. And when I say thousands of potential GameStops and AMCs. It's a business model to steal money from retail in small and micro caps. It's across the board. If you don't think that Mullen had a big move up, and I pointed it out, I posted on it. I'm like, this is a big handoff, the billion share handoff. Right? They took it up. That's about maintaining control, and they dunked it again. Okay. Well, that's not normal. What happened there? There's nothing normal about that. There is an absolutely gigantic, massive naked short in that stock, along with hundreds and thousands of others. So the world will be a better place if we can persevere. And the last thing I'll say is, despite where the price is, we are closer. The toothpaste keeps getting squeezed out of the tube that cannot get put back. Whether it's you have 4 million eyeballs that are scrubbing all sorts of data. There's their website or somebody I'm following, a lawyer, Coley, whatever, who's posting about all these companies that were opened up in the UK, and I don't know what it means, but it's just another person doing dirty in the weeds research. You can't stop that. And so even though the price is where it is, the price is fake. It's artificially suppressed. We are closer, believe it or not, to unearthing this and blowing this thing up than we were at 72. And that doesn't make any sense. But trust me, we are, because every day more toothpaste gets squeezed out of the tube. They can't go back in because everybody's watching, everyone's paying attention, and they're putting the heat on. And that's why they're coming with everything from the media to all the things that are there they're coming at us with. It's because we're getting closer to the third rail. That's it.
Absolutely. And I want to I hate to cut it off, man, but I got to get back to answering DMs about ComputerShare. My DMs are just insanely out of control. But I want to thank Pedro for coming up. KB, dude, for your speech earlier. Absolutely agree with you beyond belief. You almost had PJ in tears there. And Tara, she's gone. She dumped. But thanks for coming in and co-hosting. And PJ, too. And then I want to do a special thanks to Froggy Styles and Diva, who helped moderate my YouTube. And for Froggy for coming in and sticking with the fight, even though they tried to cancel him, back in like June, July. So appreciate all you guys so much. And I hope everybody learned something. Hope everybody took something from this. So PJ, if you want to close out with anything, go ahead.
Thanks, guys. Just keep up the good fight. Keep on learning everything that you can. Discern what's true and what's not true, and just do what you think is logical. And I think that's the most important thing.
Absolutely. Y'all have a good night, man. If anything new comes.
All right, buddy. Thanks. Please like and subscribe. Appreciate it. It helps kick the message out further into the algorithms. Gets the information out there. A lot of FUD busting in here today. And again, KB's right. I've even beefed with some people that I need to squash it with. I won't be talking about it no more. Marantz came in, made amends. Super cool. That's what I like to see. We need all apes. Doesn't matter. AMC, GME, Mullen, BBIG, whatever you're into, firing in the same freaking direction for once. For once. We are so close to causing a massive liquidity crisis for these bastards that are naked short selling every company we love into non-existence. We can freaking do this. We can do this. So I want to thank you all on the YouTube channel for coming in your comments. This channel has grown exponentially over the past 6 months, and I really appreciate for what you guys put in for me to read and learn and figure out with you in the comments. You guys have a great night. Froggy Stonks out.